Are y'all ready to talk about the youth? To talk about the next generation?
Them young boys.
Them young boys. As you guys see by the title.
Yes, I'm ready.
As you guys see by the title, today we're talking about the youngest people in this league we cover. Today we're going to do a tier list of every single rookie in this NBA season. Meant to do this a couple weeks ago, but I think now is a good time to do it. We've all had a full 82 games to digest what we think about these young players. So today we're going to put them in a tier list based on, I think, how our evaluation of them long-term has changed in this rookie year. So not how good they are today, but from what we learned this year, how good we think they'll be going forward in their career.
Yeah. I think going back to the summer, a lot of people clearly gave this draft class a lot of shit. One of the most famous headlines people used to say was, wow, this is the worst, weakest draft class since 2000. Oh, man. Do you guys remember how bad the 2000 draft class was?
Some people said of all time.
Oh, that's such a drag. 2000, it's not as bad as the 2000 draft class, and I think we're all happy to see that.
Yeah, I feel real good about this draft class compared to what we came in thinking, but lots to talk about there we'll get into. We'll talk about all the guys at the top, like 1 through 18 we're going to do. Then we're not going to do every single person, but we're going to do all the ones who had notable rookie years that we felt like we learned from. But you guys know, before we get to that, the NBA playoffs are going on right now. So we got to talk about all the biggest series right now. We're doing it. We're like splitting up the coverage. If you guys watch our stream on Tuesday, we covered the Lakers series, the Denver Nuggets series, the Knicks series extensively. Since then, there's a few games that have happened in some of these series. So we'll cover the ones that have changed. But if you don't hear us talk about your favorite team series right now, that's because we covered it extensively on Tuesday and they haven't played another game yet. So go back and watch that VOD. Combine that with today's discussion. You should get all of our up-to-date thoughts on every single NBA playoff series.
They need to be tapping into TD3 Tuesdays. You shouldn't have to be reminding them every single podcast episode. But here we are doing it. You're not doing your job. We are.
Your job. Watch our videos now. But yeah, man. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs. Let's talk about these young boys. Let's get right into it.
The cranium is crazy. Oh, my God.
I mean, I really don't know what to say.
Crayon eaters, rejoice!
Before we get started, before we talk about the playoffs, I almost forgot. Mo, I have a gift for you. If I give it to you right now, do you promise you'll go off camera and you'll put it on right now?
No.
You won't promise me that?
Let's do it.
You will?
Potentially. Let's do it.
No, you got to promise me or you can't have it.
I break promises all the time, bro.
But you got to make one.
I'm a liar.
Are you going to make this promise or not?
It's yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right back.
To the crown eaters, yes. And for the crown eaters, I am not breaking shit. This is what I do.
Did you know about this? Because I didn't know about this. I'm very curious to see where
no idea what's going on. But he has a piece of fabric. And I'm very curious to see what it is.
I found a t-shirt. I saw this online. I immediately thought of Mo, and I had to give it to him before I had to buy it in the moment because I know I would have forgot about it. Okay. And it's too perfect for Mo.
I'm going to let you guys see it right before I do. I have no idea what to expect.
Show Donovan.
I sent you this. This is fire.
Oh, I didn't even see you sent me this. Perfect.
Cinnabon. Oh, my God. I have to wear this.
Yeah.
All right. You guys carry the episode. Sorry.
Yeah. Go change. Go change.
You got it.
I usually don't let none mess up the swag, but this is the swag.
Yeah, man. Donovan.
You're stupid.
While he goes and gets a little wardrobe change going on, what playoff series you want to start with?
All right, so we talked about. I already forgot what we talked about on Tuesday.
All right, okay, so we're gonna start with. I don't even know why I asked you. This has to be the most pressing story to talk about. Game 2 last night between Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets coming into the series.
I chose to forget.
Yeah, well, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a great outcome for longevity of the series as a neutral fan because the headline of this game, Jimmy Butler is injured. Mm-hmm. He fell so unbelievably hard on his ass. The second it happened, I said, oh my God, I know his tailbone might be broken.
Yep.
I was horrified of the outcome. As of now, we know he had a contusion and didn't return to game 2. We'll see if he misses more time or not, but I have to assume he'll miss at least one more game. That shit looked horrible.
Probably. And like if he's gone, it's over. Like the series is done. Golden State might not win another game if Jimmy Butler doesn't play for the rest of the series.
Damn.
And it's just because it's just so clear. Like if Jimmy Butler's not there, then the Warriors are the version of themselves where we were like, man, these guys suck.
Yeah.
Like Steph Curry is out here overtaxed. Last night, Jimmy Butler got hurt. Brandon Pajemski was fighting through food poisoning. Right? You had so much going on. And then on top of it, you have to go back and forth. This is hilarious.
Can I give you a hug on
Okay, sit down.
Please, can I give you a hug? Ah, man. Cinnabron has entered the building.
He wearing the
This is a
medium.
fantastic find.
Yeah, but you're right. Without Jimmy, it looks how early season Warriors did, where Steph gets so much attention thrown at him that we say, oh, wow, this doesn't look like the same guy anymore. Mm-hmm. Because while Steph is still amazing and can still give you games like game one where he just has ridiculous shot making that gets him to 30 points despite playing against an elite defense that does a good job, he can't necessarily go night in, night out with no help like he looked without Jimmy Butler yesterday and just fight through all these double teams and get to his own buckets. The speed isn't what it once was. He needs a certain level of infrastructure to get his game off, which is fine. He's 37. It's not a slight. Without Jimmy, it's just hard to imagine that goes particularly well.
Yeah, and he can't do that against the most athletic team in the league. Like Houston is just able to throw body after body after body, and especially in games like Game 2 where we are currently in the Jalen Green experience.
Yeah,
terrible Game 1. We were like, oh man, this is bad. This is rock bottom. And then he goes out in Game 2 and he has 38 points and he's hitting every.
I'm glad you say that.
Every pull up three, he's attacking the rim super aggressively. And the one knock that we keep saying about Houston is who's going to create offense in the half court. Well, Jalen Green did that yesterday.
Yeah.
And when they do that, they are able to control the game throughout all 48 minutes. They're able to blow the Warriors out. And it's going to be easy if he's playing like this.
Yeah, so we talked, last week we did one question that every NBA team needs to answer to win their first round series. If you guys saw that episode, our prevailing opinion up here was that we're picking the Warriors in 7 games. I think Donovan said 6. Mm-hmm. Me and Mo were 7, but we were like, I think I can see both of us.
Yeah.
We don't feel good about that shit at all. We were like, we guess we'll go Warriors. Like, it's conventional wisdom that you go with the old team that has a half-court superstars. They'll win a close series. But I was like, it's damn near too close to call. I don't feel good about this opinion. I got to pick a side, so I guess I'll say they'll barely win, but it truly could go either way. And the question I had, they're one of my teams, was which version of Jalen Green are you going to get? Because there's some nights, I always say he looks like 6'5" Donovan Mitchell. That was last night. He hit like fucking 10 threes. It looked ridiculous. Everything comes together when he's hitting his step back three. The outside in approach works so much better. He gives them the half-court shot making they need. But then you got games like Game 1 where he looks lost. The game plan was attack Curry one-on-one, and Curry was kind of just locking him down, which is crazy. So Jalen Green giveth and Jalen Green taketh away. This team, we always talk about, they're one superstar away from being good. That's why everybody wants to make it Devin Booker, wants to get Kevin Durant. Nights like this where Jalen Green straight up performs like that superstar, you're going to find this team to be incredibly hard to beat.
Jalen Green is so crazy because he's single-handedly, outside of Kawhi Leonard, he is the biggest X factor in the NBA playoffs. And that's just so brain-breaking to even say, because if he is doing what he did last night or somewhere around that realm, who is stopping the Houston Rockets outside of the Oklahoma City?
Nobody.
I don't know nobody who can do that in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
They're that much of a force defensively and offensively as well. Like, we didn't even mention, I don't know if you guys mentioned Alfred Sengun yet.
Not yet.
But holy fuck, he is a problem as well. He's been the most consistent player he's been the most consistent player so far this series through and through Game 1 and Game 2. I think Game 2, we gave him like 17 points and 16 rebounds and 105 assists. Monster game, And I know all the Turks are coming after you, Isaac. You better watch your back. And I understand it now as well in terms of his overall offensive skill and game, not necessarily being the best at one certain thing, but really damn good across the board. So valuable, bro.
No, yeah, he's right. They did a really good job in Game 2 at, after Game 1, they lost Game 1 because their offense was abysmal. They actually did a pretty good job against the Warriors in Game 1 defensively. Warriors fans were on Twitter gloating like, y'all told me this defense is the craziest thing you've ever seen. We just beat them. They scored less than 100 points. Yeah. The Rockets defense held up just fine. The Rockets offense was just disgusting. It was beyond approach. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely horrendous in Game 1. They scored like 85 points. Didn't look good. They did so much better of a job in Game 2 utilizing Sengun as a driver and not just running these lineups where you throw it to him in the post. They did a good job of having him be an isolation guy from the top of the key with much better spacing, and he did a really good job attacking these small Warriors defenders. Anytime he didn't get Draymond Green on him, he was attacking the one-on-one, getting downhill, making the right decision. That's like the most imperative thing in this series is how they can put Sengun in the right spot to attack non-Draymond Green defenders. Because outside of him, they don't have anybody on this roster that can check Sengun. This roster is full of Draymond, Looney, Post are big guys. A bunch of small dudes after that. I don't even feel that great about Jimmy Butler on him one-on-one because he's just too small.
I don't feel good about anybody outside of Draymond. Like
Yeah.
Post, good, you're big. Doesn't matter. Like Sengun is looking at that and he's saying food. Looney is not quick enough to stay with Sengun whenever he gets into his bag like that. And so I think that combination of Sengun dominating down low and then Jalen Green dominating from the perimeter, like Mo said, that's what's making Houston as dangerous as anybody in the Western Conference. And it makes it so that, specifically on Jalen Green, it makes it so that you are not relying on these like Fred VanVleet 20 shot a night, step back threes, tough shot type of performances. And even though that Jalen Green does take some tough shots, you do feel better about him taking those rather than Fred VanVleet. And so the ceiling is just much higher when he's doing that.
And they did a good job last night too of mixing up their lineups better. They had, obviously Jimmy Butler went out really fucking early. So after that, it was Steph Curry versus the world. They had some good stretches whenever, the lineups called for it, when they had to get some good off the court, where they put Jabari Smith at center, a man at power forward, and then have their 3 perimeter players, so whoever they chose. That lineup did such a good job defending in a really switch-heavy scheme against Steph when they knew he didn't have any help to really punish him on the switches. They weren't going to get slips from Buddy Hield beating them on the short roll. They weren't going to get Jimmy Butler attacking their smallest defender. They can full-on switch 1 through 5 against Steph and really neutralize him. And that's really what blew the lead open in the second quarter, I think. And that's like their biggest strength is they can go double bigs. They can go single big with Sengun attacking this biggest guy. They can go small like that and really stifle you with mobility. And obviously, this all works a lot better with no Jimmy Butler. But I think we saw a much closer version of who the Rockets are than game 1 when their offense was just like worst case scenario.
Yeah, this series is it's very funny because every game is a race to 80 points. Whoever can get to 80 points first is going to win. And because nobody in this series is super the way that it's being called and the way that it's being played. This is one of the most physical series
it's prison ball.
I've seen in a long time. And so with that physicality, with the Warriors, and now that Jimmy Butler is hurt and he's out, with their lack of offense, with the Rockets' inherent lack of offense, it really is like, can you build like a 10-point lead and can you kind of sustain that for a while? And on the Warriors side, because we're talking about like Houston doing everything, I came out of last night extremely frustrated with Jonathan Kuminga because
Really?
I was actually.
What'd you expect? He hasn't played in fucking a week.
I was probably as furious as I've ever been watching Kuminga.
Fuck Kuminga, what the fuck?
Because on one hand, and I do want to give him grace, to go from I'm the 3rd leading scorer on this team, you bench me at the end of the season, you take me out of the rotation. I can understand how that can take somebody out of that mindset.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we're here now, and so like Jimmy's out, Pods isn't playing. You have an opportunity to, even if you don't think that you have value on the Warriors, to at least showcase your talents for other people, because people get paid off the playoffs all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought that in a spot where the Warriors could have just used some more athleticism, you didn't really see that out of Kuminga yesterday. And I thought that he was pretty passive a little bit. And I think that like it was frustrating because I thought that Golden State, there was a moment where they were like, they were pushing to come back. It was 10 or 11 points. And throughout that whole time, you were getting more out of like Pat Spencer and Quentin Post rather than Kuminga. And so I think that like one, he's gonna have to play because Jimmy is gonna be out.
Yeah,
and so in game 3, I do like they're gonna need Kuminga to step up and be more aggressive and try to be more of an offensive factor. Because outside of really not even outside of anybody else, matching athleticism for athleticism, Kuminga is one of the only threats to pose athleticism on Houston.
You're right, but for the Golden State Warriors, and more so specifically Steve Kerr, he's never really trusted Kuminga at all when it comes to trying to build an offense, not around him, but more so trying to like cater towards him. Okay, Kuminga, we're going to give you a certain level of responsibility and give you certain opportunities, draw up XYZ plays or whatever. Like, no, it's like Steph ball. Even if Steph Curry is not on the court, we're playing a specific way. This is our identity. And it's your job to figure out ways to make yourself valuable, whether it be like last year when they tried the CP3 thing and tried to make him into DeAndre Jordan, just use him as a role man, or this year when they tried to give him more responsibility. This is the best season he's had, of course, but still, you don't feel really good about him. For someone like Jonathan Kuminga, was a young player, lottery pick. We all know the ego is high as hell. It's just so hard to be on the bench and not getting any burn right after you just had your best year, like you said, and then all of a sudden be called up in the playoffs and be given a ridiculous, not a ridiculous, but be given this amount of opportunity that you haven't seen before, all in just like a split second, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't really blame him for what did he do last night? I think he put up like 11 points on 13 shots, which is disgusting, but it's what you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough situation, but that's the type of situation you gotta persevere through if you want to make a role for yourself in the league. It's not gonna be easy. But
I got a question.
It's definitely hard.
Now with this Jimmy Butler injury being apparent, I don't know if there has been any type of update just yet in terms of how much time he's going to lose. But whether he's back or not, clearly like the Warriors are not the same. How do you feel about the Warriors' chances coming on top of the season?
So I said this when you were changing shit. If Jimmy's not here, they lose. They lose the series.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, how can you? If we thought it was a tight series, it goes 7. That was
With Jimmy.
Under the impression Jimmy fucking Butler would be there, one of the best playoff risers who's done great work in the first game and first 8 minutes of this game, I guess. It's such a huge, gigantic part of what makes this team good post deadline. Their defense, their offense, everything is completely revitalized because of him and him alone. Like, he is the single difference between them being the 11 seed and them being a team that we say might be the second or third best team out west. Without him, I just don't know how you could have even a little bit of faith.
And they will let you know that on the broadcast every 2 minutes. Every 2 minutes they're showing the graphic of like what the Warriors were before Jimmy Butler and afterwards. Like, it's a constant reminder, and it's true though. It's something that like we've gotten kind of used to, but it is very, very wild how this team was out of the playoffs, looking like they might be out of the play-in, and then you get Jimmy Butler and they rise, all the way up here. So it's a massive loss, and the fact that they don't have anybody else who can not only create their own shot, but the one advantage that we all knew that Golden State had over Houston was, yes, you guys are more athletic. We're just smarter than you guys. We have more experience, and so the fact that you don't have another smart, like super smart guy out there in Jimmy Butler to have that mind meld between him, Draymond, and Steph to outthink, quote unquote, the Rockets. That's the biggest loss out of all of this, is that you can't, out scheme this very young team that hasn't been here before and do all the little things that happened in a playoff series. That's one of the biggest losses outside of just having somebody else who can just go get you 25-5 in a game.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, obviously the series all comes down to Jimmy Butler's availability. That'll be the big deciding factor. But in the end, I think we saw that after game 1, people might have wanted to overreact and say the Rockets stood no chance. Even those first 8 minutes, obviously it was only 8 minutes, they were looking good. They came out strong, made good adjustments. So I think at the end of the day, you're seeing that the Rockets aren't frauds by any means. The way that might have been floating in the air after game 1. Mm-hmm. They're going to have ups and downs, and I think we saw both versions of them in these first 2 games. Mm-hmm. Now, we got another series to talk about. When you want to talk about seeing both versions of a team in 2 games,
trying to tell you,
we got to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers versus Minnesota Timberwolves series. This is one that we all picked the Lakers. We had varying degrees of certainty. Donovan was very certain the Lakers would beat the Timberwolves. I think Mo was somewhere in the middle, probably closer to Donovan. I was kind of scared. I said, I picked Lakers in 6. I feel like it low-key might be more like 7. I'm a fucking Lakers fan. I'm going to pick the Lakers to win the series. Don't understand who you're hearing it from.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of worried because the Timberwolves pose a lot of advantages, right? I feel like it's going to be a long series, and it'll come down to who executes their version of their advantages better. And in game 1, we talked about it on a stream last week, they beat the shit out of the Lakers. Every swing factor that could have went to the Timberwolves went to the Timberwolves. Every single thing that could go either way went the wrong way of the Lakers. It was a nightmare scenario. There's always a debate between what's better when you have like certain days off not being a play-in. Do you get rust or do you get rest? The Lakers had goddamn rust. Then game 2 came around and the script was completely flipped. What did you guys see in game 2 when the Lakers came out and beat the Timberwolves?
Obviously, the first thing, and maybe it is the most important, maybe it's not, but the thing that jumped off the screen the most was oh, LeBron locked in tonight.
Yeah.
LeBron is locked in. He is sliding defensively. He is trying hard. He is sprinting. Everything.
Did you not see that he showed up to the arena 10 hours before the game started? Showed up to shoot around like 3-4 hours before it started?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
he was absurdly locked in.
That's what he does. And so that was very apparent. And so just the overall energy of the Lakers, that jumped off the screen immediately. Secondly, the Timberwolves had a great shooting night in game 1, but we talked about how that was a product of the way that the Lakers were guarding the Timberwolves. That didn't happen in game 2. They were much better defending the 3-point shot. And so as a result, Naz Reid, who got into some wild foul trouble on some stupid fouls.
All the role players did. They were all being dumb as hell.
But he was 1 for 3 from downtown. And Jaden McDaniels, who went crazy, he was 0 for 3. And so you had those two guys combined for like 40-something points in game 1. They combined for 17 in game 2. Instant swing.
That's crazy, and that's their biggest strength in my mind. They're definitely one of the deeper teams that the Western Conference has to have. And also another big thing that like jumped out more than ever to me this last game was Rudy Gobert. He played as much shit as the internet tries to give him, and how they like portray him as just like fake demon, fake DPOY or whatever it is.
Played off the court in the playoffs.
Just easily one of like the top 3 biggest lies that we've had over the last like 10 years.
Top 3?
Yeah. Most definitely.
It's probably top 1, honestly, in terms of how much people say it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Oh, it's besides Shea being a free throw merchant.
With Rudy Gobert, I was so wildly disappointed in his rebounding ability. Like, to be that big and to be that limited on the offensive end, which he already is, we already accepted, but he makes up more so for with the defensive end. Like, the lack of rebounding is what kills this team, and in my mind, kills any hope of any like actual consistency in the playoffs. That's a huge flaw.
Yeah, and I think yes, that to me is more about the Lakers in this game in a good way. So obviously on that stream, I was quite worried. I was like, they need to show me in game 2 that I should feel good about the Lakers in this series, because game 1 was quite concerning. But, a big part of game 1 where they lost was they just simply didn't execute well. They just played bad at the end of the day. They didn't defend well. They didn't hit their shots. They didn't get into their sets fast enough. Clearly, the words JJ Redick used was they weren't ready physically for the playoffs. That showed, so that was part of it, right? But also, to the point around Naz Reid, Jaden McDaniels, everybody else getting all those threes in game 1, they helped way too aggressively and way too lazily on these drives. They were just doubling the shit out of every single Anthony Edwards touch in ways that were way too predictable. He gets the ball and they just throw this just vanilla ass double team at him and said, you're not going to beat us as a passer. It's quite easy to beat you as a passer when your help defense is that mediocre and that simple. So Ant beat them as a passer in game 1, and that's why all these threes happened, especially in transition where the Lakers did not get out and run. Game 2, I asked in that stream that they play Anthony Edwards a lot more one-on-one and allow him to make him beat you as a scorer, not only a playmaker. They did that. And of course, he had a better stat line and Julius Randle had a better stat line because they played them a little bit more head on, said we have good big defenders, you're going to have to beat them. And they did do that. They scored well, but it leads to less shooting opportunities for these people we're talking about. That was a game plan. And they also did really smart zones every time Anthony Edwards got a isolation on the wing. When they had time, they threw a 2-3 zone at him or just different variations of zone coverage to confuse him. That worked really well. So double less and double smarter is what we asked for, and they did that. And then to your point about the Rudy Gobert rebounds, when the series came out, I said, I don't really give a shit about Gobert and Randle being too big for them. Yeah. The Lakers are really fucking good at beating you up on the boards and just swarming you with all these power forward sized bodies and not letting you just kill them on the glass. Side note, that dunk was crazy that Ant just had on Jackson Hayes. Yeah. But the Lakers are just really good at that. So like I always thought they were going to make Gobert struggle there and really get into his lower body with DFS, Rui Hachimura, and like gang rebound. So that's a return to the Lakers' strengths, I think. How did you feel about Rudy Gobert's defense? Because
it was good.
They attacked the shit out of him.
It was good. I like for him to be on an island and for them to attack. Like that was clearly the game plan. They said we are going to try and get this switch. We're gonna attack Gobert in isolation and in one-on-one situations. And I know, like obviously the Lakers scored on some of them. He held up for sure as well as you can ask. Part of that also was that Luka
demon time.
He's a bully, man.
Luka, like, it legitimately felt like he was more worried about making Gobert fall rather than scoring. There were so many times where
he drilled so much.
Yeah, where he has Gobert on him, and it's like, oh, you could have went right there, but you kept playing with your food, and so. Like, obviously that helps out Gobert, but even without that, he did as well, guarding in space as you can ask for him. So I was fine with how he played.
People misunderstand why they attack Gobert. They don't attack Gobert because he's food and he's the easiest matchup in the league for a big man. He can't stay in front of guards. He's quite decent at it, quite good at it actually for most traditional rim protectors. He's one of the better guys when it comes to elite bigs of that drop coverage style. He's very good at staying in front of you. They do that because you're way better off attacking him on the perimeter than you are attacking a perimeter guy and having him help on the back end.
Exactly.
In game 1, he shut down the paint, dominated. So they did this because they said, we're going to pull him out. And even if it's not going to be as good of efficiency as attacking Naz Reid, it's a lot better to attack Rudy Gobert so he can't help in the paint. And that was a really smart adjustment. I think overall, JJ Redick had a lot of good adjustments, and that was one of them.
Yeah, I agree. They tried to nullify his superpower, which is like you said, being in the back end and just being a big tree branch and affecting everything in the paint. In the paint that the other team tries to have going on. Even when I saw a stat last night, even when Austin Reeves and LeBron try to get their shit off on him, they only shot like a combined 3 of 12 against.
I texted Donovan this. Are you here in the group chat too? I said LeBron needs to realize Rudy Gobert is not a mismatch for him anymore. He needs to stop isolating him on the top. He does these slow dribbles and kind of just like stands there doing these big crossovers and just like fake going and doesn't go.
He thought he was food too.
He sees Luka and Austin Reeves being quick, giving him trouble, and he's like, all right, my turn. And it never goes well.
We're all eating.
He needs to cut that shit out of his game. I know old instincts die hard. That is not his game anymore.
It's also so clear that he can't do that anymore because Austin Reeves be throwing these lobs like 10 feet in the air. He had that clip a couple weeks ago where he was like, "Oh yeah, like my bad, I threw it too high."
Yeah,
and then LeBron was like, "Yeah, that took 3 days off of my rest." And he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
He keeps throwing these lobs.
Bro, he be thinking this is his moment. I could go. If I were him out, I'd do the same exact thing, bro. I'm thinking like, oh my God, this is my D-Wade to LeBron moment in Milwaukee. Going as high as possible as well.
Yeah. But no, this is a good game. This showed you, I think it showed you a lot about the Lakers team because I said in this past stream that the Lakers offense is incredibly overrated. I've been saying this. They win with defense. In this game, the Minnesota Timberwolves scored 85 points and the Lakers scored 94. They got those 94 points in the first half. They went crazy, built a big lead up. Second half, they went cold. And in that first half, they went crazy because Luka Doncic went vintage Luka shot making against all these Rudy Gobert isolations. He was going insane. Second half, you saw that start to slow down. Right now, Rui, LeBron, and Reeves aren't shooting well in the spot up threes. You started to see that without the crazy shot making of Luka, the offense starts to get a little iffy. But they still won because they won with defense, doing the swarming small ball, but really kind of big because everyone's 6'8", type of defense on the interior. This is how their games are going to look. You're going to get the stretches where Luka takes over and makes the offense hum. When that doesn't happen, the solo LeBron minutes aren't good offensively anymore because the isolation game isn't quite there for him anymore. But they're going to have a strong defensive infrastructure that keeps them, in striking range for Luka to have these offensive runs.
Yeah, but I think that because I still feel very confident about the Lakers winning the series because you haven't had an amazing Austin Reeves game. You haven't, like LeBron was locked in. He wasn't awesome in terms of his shot making. There's another level for both of them to go to. And when the Wolves were making their push to come back and everybody's missing these shots, like LeBron, even the shots that he was missing, they were still good shots and he was still getting to his spots. And so I don't feel I haven't felt like this in a decade, but I don't feel like anybody can like slow LeBron down or like get him to not go to his spots. So there's that aspect of it. And so going into game 3, like I think the Lakers get game 3. I think you've seen Luka ramp up. You've seen them make a couple of adjustments. And it's very hard for me to keep thinking about Minnesota. And while they are talented, if the Lakers can defend like this and you're forcing Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels to really, really beat you, I don't really trust them. And it also seems like by the end of this series, like Jackson Hayes is probably going to start, play 2 minutes, and then, hit the bench, and you're just going to roll with...
Dude, he is getting just ran off the court immediately. I talked about that too on the stream that I hope they need to get some good minutes out of Jackson Hayes in this playoff run. clearly this will not be that series because
It won't
he
be.
plays 6 minutes, gets 3 fouls, and JJ Redick is like bench rest of the game. Get ready to play small ball for 42 minutes because you cannot touch the court again. And that could work in this series, I think, because I think they have the type of in Rudy Gobert's sense, I can say this, unskilled big men that they're not going to make you pay in that way. You can deal with the physicality. In certain other series, you're going to need Jackson Hayes to be able to give you some minutes. And I hope he can, carry some momentum into the second round.
Man, rest up. Get ready for Houston. it's okay.
I hope. But I also don't think the Lakers are out of the woods yet. Like, this is still going to be a tough series that
Absolutely.
we've seen both teams, their first strike. Game 2 always tells us a lot about how the teams are going to adjust to each other. And I'm fine being confident the Lakers will win in 6 or 7, like I said before. But listen, Chris Finch can still have an adjustment. There's still plenty of ways that the Timberwolves can play better too. So still a close series. I'm not ready to say it's for sure the Lakers are going to stomp, but decent. I feel decent about the Lakers in 6 prediction.
Also, shout out to Randall, who's played well through 2 games. Like, that was somebody who we've talked about having a lot of pressure. People have been, talking about how Randall's a playoff dropper and this and that. This is one of the first playoff series, maybe the only playoff series that he's actually been like really, really healthy for. And he's played well through 2 games. And so I think, shout out to him.
Another shout out. I said it, or I alluded to it. Isaac said it. Anthony Edwards is steady evolving and taking like an actual other leap in terms of his stardom in the NBA. He still hasn't had a bad playoff game, bro, so far in this series. And although obviously the Timberwolves didn't end up with the win, his game specifically, not forcing it, trying his best to look for outlets for his other shooters and whatnot, although they were taken, superb. And he's steady climbing his rankings.
Yeah,
steady climbing.
All right. One more big series we got to talk about. Pacers versus Bucks. Game 1 came, and the Pacers, for lack of a better word, beat the shit out of the Milwaukee Bucks. Damian Lillard wasn't there. They were completely outclassed. It looked like it was going to be the cleanest of sweeps. And then, miraculously, Damian Lillard returned from his blood clot issues 3 weeks after it was initially reported. One of the craziest recoveries we've seen from something like this in the NBA. And, we expected there would be some rust. He missed all that time. He's an older point guard. We've seen what Damian Lillard looks like when he's not in tip-top shape. So I don't think any of us expected him to come out and change the series and make it so the Bucks suddenly had the top 2 players in the series and blitz the Pacers and suddenly they're the team to beat. But we expected there would be some differences, right? Did you see a difference in game 2 in which the Pacers won and went up 2-0?
No.
No. They were arm's length.
No, but they were in arm's length, not even because of Dame, because he looked like he hadn't played basketball in 3 weeks.
But he played in like 40 minutes, I believe, or 30
which
minutes.
is
criminal.
It's wild. He had one, I think, going into like the fourth quarter, going into like the last 5 minutes, he had like one made 3 on the night. It wasn't good. And for this series alone, I don't really care about, in terms of like what it says about Dame or whatever. I don't really care about Dame's performance. He's coming off of blood clots in 3 weeks, and they're like, "Oh, this is miraculous! Like it's medical history.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been able to play this quickly." So you knew that aspect was going to happen. They also got 28 points out of Bobby Portis, and that's something that you're not going to be able to rely on. We were on stream as the game started. Kyle Kuzma started the game. We were on zero watch
For the first like 7 minutes.
First of all, the announcers, messy as hell. he had a shot. He had a layup, and it was like his 3rd basket of the game. And the announcers was like, Kyle Kuzma with his 3rd shot of the game. Oh my God. They are messy because they were on zero watch too. But I still don't have a lot of faith, especially going into game 3. Maybe just because they're going back home. But the stuff that the stuff that the Bucks role players are doing seems very non-helpful. And you just look at the stat line and you're like, oh wow, Giannis 34, 18, and 7, and you lose again. They're gonna lose this series. They're probably gonna lose it in 5, and it's just gonna be that.
It's embarrassing in the worst way possible, bro.
Yeah, the Pacers are just a better team. We talked about why on stream after game 1. They're better in every way. Their size is more effective because Brook Lopez just can't play in the series. He's too slow. The 3-point rate difference between when Brook is on the court and off the court is gigantic because he is having the hardest time of his life rotating to this 5-out spacing and not allowing constant open threes.
Teams turn into 2017 Warriors, bro.
Every time he touches the court.
Every single time.
Their big presence isn't good. their lineups with Bobby Portis is probably what they should start, which is like a gross solution because that's defensively worse. But at this point, they have to make something happen. Their wing play isn't good enough. Their backup guard play outside of Damian Lillard isn't good enough to contend with having Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton and TJ McConnell on the court at all times. They're bigger, faster, stronger, shoot better. Outside of Giannis, it feels like a no contest in terms of top to bottom talent.
Oh man, this is coaching malpractice also in my mind when it comes to single Doc Rivers, the adjustments that he made between game 1 and game 2. The only adjustment that he made was like, okay, Dame back, cool. You get minutes, you play, cool. That was it. That was the game plan. I don't understand how you can start as atrociously as they did to earlier in the season. I think they started like 2-8, and you go ahead, try to find some magic, and you play the Derry Birds of the world, and then you also give someone like Andre Jackson Jr. minutes, and he helps turn around the entire ship. He hasn't, as time has gone on throughout the year, he's gotten like little of a role, and he doesn't play anymore. If I'm someone like Doc Rivers, I look at that dude and I'm like, okay, fuck, we're small. We have no defenders. Our offense is ass. It's obvious, clear as day. Andre Jackson Jr. doesn't do shit on offense other than like slash and shit. But it's much better than what Torian Prince is giving you currently. I understand.
You got Tyrese
spacing's
Halliburton dunking
valuable,
on them.
But yeah, exactly. You need some type of point of attack defender or someone who's gonna hound these guys. Like, do you guys remember what Andre Jackson Jr. did in the in-season tournament?
This is pitiful.
Like, this is crazy.
Why is Giannis Brook the pick and roll defenders? And look at Brook's slow ass. You got Tyrese Halliburton yamming on you. When's the last time you've seen him dunk? I mean, he does occasionally, but once a quarter.
Yeah.
A quarter of the year, the calendar of the like
Q1.
Yeah.
Q1.
Serious adjustments needs to be made, and the most obvious one is right there, and we're just continuously seeing this team get pummeled.
Yes. And I know I understand that they got within 2. It was kind of close, and then, Indiana pulled away again. But you look at the box score, and the Bucks shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and for a majority of this game are not close to it. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that, like, that's good splits for a team. When that's happening and you're still not close offensively, I don't know what's supposed to happen. And I think that Giannis is playing as well as he possibly can. He's having his Superman moment, and this core around him is one of the most disappointing cores that we've seen around like a thriving superstar in a long time, and they're just gonna get blasted.
Bro, they need some fucking dog in them, and Andre Jackson Jr. is a part of the answer to me. They were literally.
I want to make fun of you because you keep saying like Andre Jackson Jr. is going to be like the
answer.
savior. No, I want to make fun of you, but I can't because that's one of the only options.
I will make fun of you, and not necessarily you, both of you, because why are we acting like there's an adjustment Doc Rivers can make? This team sucks, and the Pacers are really good, and they have no chance. We don't need to say anything.
You can suck, but how bad can you?
They stand no chance. It'll be the
no,
Pacers.
It's very clear.
The Pacers have a better chance of beating the Cavs than the Bucks do of beating the Pacers. They're just clearly outmatched. It doesn't matter. I think if Dame never got the blood clot issue and he won 100%, we might not be seeing that different of an outcome either way. I feel like the Pacers are just clearly the better team, and they're displaying that no matter what lineup combination is out there. The Bucks do not have enough good players.
I disagree with that. But I mean, even if Dame was healthy, do I think that the Pacers could still win the series? Obviously, yes.
It'd be closer. It'd be closer, but I still think the Pacers would win.
Yeah, but I mean, down 2-0, this series is done.
Yeah.
There's nothing. There's no way outside of everybody on the Pacers dying that the Bucks are gonna win 4 out of 5 games. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
I know we're saying this. Obviously, anything is possible. So if this does happen and the Bucks do win this series, one of two things will have happened.
Shout out to them.
Either Tyrese Halliburton had a nightmare series and it's the biggest choke job we've seen from a good team, or Giannis is literally God and we need to put him in our top 10 of all time because he can make fucking water into wine because he's going to find a way to win this series that's unwinnable.
He's averaging like 33 and 17. He's going to have to average like 50 and 20.
So if we're wrong and we're speaking confidently and you're a Bucks fan and you see this and you end up winning the series, don't direct your hate to me. Direct your love to Giannis because that is your Lord and Savior because he would have done something ridiculous.
And don't act like you don't feel the same way right now. Like we know what we're watching.
But shout out to the Pacers, man. I can't wait to see them versus the Cavs. Obviously, the Cavs have been a better team all year and should be favored to win, but We'll find out real fast if the Bucks are just like that down bad, or if the Pacers are just insanely dangerous and can beat anybody in the conference. We'll see. I'm gonna lean towards the Cavs in that series, but it will be a war.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Dame, I need a 40 piece, please. We need a 40 piece from Dame and a 50 piece from Giannis. That's the only way.
This man is on multiple medications. I give you 40 points in game 3.
Multiple medications.
This man is hallucinating on the court. I don't blame him.
And we can
It's just going out right
He's out here seeing 4 rims.
Oh, this is so bad.
We can speed run through the other series that have played games since the stream. OKC continues to beat the shit out of the Grizzlies. Not much to say
Did
there.
you see the jaw layup?
Oh my God.
The jaw layup?
The
Which
clip.
one?
There was a clip of Ja doing a reverse layup and like he just threw it up, missed, and just ran back the other way, like no care, nothing at all. Everyone's like, "Yo, are you even trying at this point?"
Just tossing shit. Shea hasn't played well through 2 games for his standards.
Doesn't matter.
It hasn't mattered because like they're just like he doesn't need to go. His performance has little bearing because it's such a top to bottom mismatch. We want to see Shea have a good rest of the series though, because in series 2 they'll probably have to play the Clippers or Jokic, and you could see a war where they come in rusty because they took the week off because they beat the shit out of this team, and then maybe they lose a game 1 because the other team is hot off of a game 7 in rhythm. So that's worth monitoring. Cleveland versus Miami. Shout out Donovan Mitchell scoring 30 in both front games. Our biggest question was, we know he's taking a step back to let others eat in the regular season. Can he elevate again when needed?
He's doing that.
Certainly is doing it. Normal Donovan Mitchell stuff.
And shout out the Heat for making them work and having a fake comeback in the fourth quarter and making them lock in a little bit. Good for you guys. Boston versus the Magic. Also uninteresting. But Jason Tatum's hurt. Missed game 2. Probably precautionary. I'm sure if it was a finals, he would have played. It was cool, though, because the last time we saw Jason Tatum miss time in the playoffs, it was kind of a fucking nightmare playing through Jaylen Brown in 2023. Now we have Drew Holiday. Now we have Porzingis. It was good to see what would that look like when Jaylen has to take a little more on his shoulders. Looked great. He got his game off, had the requisite help. They couldn't just trap him nonstop. Very encouraging there for somebody who's coming into the series hurt.
Porzingis also had to get 5 stitches because Gogo busted it in his head.
Bro, he snatched off his
Just
unicorn.
gas.
Crazy. Ripped that shit off.
Just
like
gas,
a Greek god.
gassed
Holy
his forehead.
fuck. Yeah.
But yeah, after that, I mean, you know, it's the same thing we talked about before the series, right after game 1. It's good to see Paolo going so crazy. He's looking encouraging. I think his playmaking is really doing well. And the team has no chance. Franz still can't shoot. It's still a huge issue against a team this good.
Yeah.
Your spacing is so limited. Your second star being part of that bad spacing is a problem. A lot of questions they have to answer this summer, and I'm not feeling good about it.
Same old, same old. They need to take the Detroit Pistons route and just sign players, veteran players specifically, who can shoot the fucking ball.
They tried to.
They signed 1. That's all they had
Forgot
in
how
their
to shoot.
bag. Yeah.
I think they need.
You thought you had a better 4.
I think they need to get a stretch 5, clearly, because they're not going to get spacing from the 3 with Franz. I want to see them in a stretch 5, and I want to see them with an Anthony Simons type guard next to Suggs.
Yeah.
Bring KCP out the bench or trade him, whatever is fucking necessary. I want to see that. If that doesn't work, there's going to be questions long term about can Franz Wagner be the second star to Paolo Banchero, because at this point, it's feeling like Bulls need the ball in their hands. It's very reductive, but that's where we're at right now. Obviously, Franz can get better off ball, and we can see development happen. They're both incredibly young. You don't got to rush into anything, but it's going to be something to monitor next year.
Most definitely. They're on the hot seat. Their GM is on the hot seat.
Their coach, low key.
Everybody's in the hot seat.
Yeah, that is true. Everyone is pretty much at this point.
The organization is a suspect. Yeah, man. That's NBA playoff talk. Let's get into the main part of this episode.
Let's go.
Let's put every relevant 2024 NBA rookie into a tier list. And I say relevant, I'm not being reductive to people who aren't on this list. It's not to say you're never going to be good, but we did the top 17 in this class. And then after that, the ones later, deeper in the draft that, you know, had a role in year 1. Because obviously if we come up here and do 60 players, there would be 30 of them that didn't have an opportunity in year 1 because they're waiting their turn. And we would say, we don't know.
Yeah.
So if you don't see your favorite rookie on here, it's not because we hate him. It's not because you think he's trash. We might, but it's not necessarily the case. It's just that in year 1, we didn't learn a whole lot, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think some guys like the Reed Shepherds of the world, or
Well, he's on here.
Yeah,
top 5
he should be on here because number 3 overall pick. and we saw him in a very, very limited role. But when it comes to gauging guys like that or whoever else didn't make this list, it's chalk and beer. And
Reed shouldn't have been on here, but he's drafted so highly we got to talk about him. But he's in the same boat of that he was given so little run that we don't know anything realistically long term. But put him on here because how could you not put everybody in the top 5? As you see on the tiers, we have all-star for the players that we think obviously can be all-stars, elite role player, starter, solid bench guy, a lot to prove, and not looking good, bruv.
Not looking good, bruv.
That's the spectrum we're working with here. If you're in the bottom tier, we don't have a lot of faith in you. We kind of think it might be cooked. And if you're at the top, we think you might be the diamond in the rough of what was thought to be a bad draft class. Every draft class has at least one all-star, usually. Even 2013, they got Giannis at the end of the lottery. There's always sleepers in there that you don't necessarily see coming. I kind of think we do have a couple of those in this draft class, so that'd be worth talking about.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Let's start.
I do.
Where are we starting at?
Let's start at the top. Let's start at number 1 overall. Let's go with Zachary Richichet. Obviously, he was talked about as the least impressive number 1 overall pick in a long time. Everybody had something mean to say about him when the pick was taken. We all thought Alex Sarr would go 1, but then he said, I don't want to be on the Hawks. But he didn't really say that, but he made it very fucking clear, so they didn't pick him. Mo, how are you feeling about Richichet on this tier list?
I felt like he had a fantastic rookie year, and he showed his ability throughout the entire year. Of course, at the start of the year, things were rough, but if you look at his efficiency as each and every month went by, he scored more, he got more efficient, turnovers went down. He just grew as each and every single month went by, and I feel very strongly about him and his role as a Hawk, and not only that, just his role as a player and how he's valued and viewed in this league. Someone like him is what every single team in the league craves at the 3/4 position or whatever you view him as. And I think in this tier list specifically, here's things, like if he was able to consistently create for himself and be some type of like a real penetrator or initiator, I would say he has all-star potential. He's shown like a good amount of flashes of that. But flashes aren't just enough for me to call him an all-star. So for that, I think he belongs in the elite role player tier.
Yeah, I think like we came out and we called him, Harrison Barnes. This is the French Falcon. You know what I'm saying? He is in your favorite category, borderline potential fringe all-star, and I think that elite role player fits that mold perfectly.
Last 25 games of the year, when you talked about hit a much stronger finish of the year, 61% true shooting. He shot 38% from 3, 62% on 2s. He just really filled all the spots you want as a complimentary scorer playing off of Trae Young. It was just like quintessential whenever you saw the draft pick and heard him be described as this do-it-all wing who will do everything pretty well and elevate you and make your team better, but not, blow your mind with any crazy ceiling individual skill. That's precisely what we saw. Like, it was exactly what you should have expected. And the swing factor is obviously, you look on this before and after, first 50 games, 33% from 3. Last 25, 38%. It really came down to, is his 3 falling? Everything built off of that, which is what you'd expect for the young player, right? You have to be able to shoot outside because your body isn't fully developed to dominate on the inside. Surprise, surprise. When he shot well, he looked fully worth the pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I think the next steps for his development, what could breach him into the all-star tier, is seeing how well he can consistently hit on closeouts and what he can do when he's not just simply spotting up and catching the ball from Trae Young or Jalen Johnson or whoever it is dishing out to him. I think that's the next step of development. But before that, obviously he needs to continuously solidify himself as one of the best shooters that the NBA has to offer. You can do that. We are having other conversations about him. But at him as of now, I feel very comfortable with him as
I feel very confident that whatever your evaluation was of him before the season started or pre-draft, it should be exactly the same. He has checked every box and been completely, utterly too standard. Exactly what we expected from this number 1 pick, who would be an elite role player. He is still that.
Which honestly is really good. Obviously you went into last year's draft and people didn't think much about the ceilings and the potential of all the players. But when you're rebuilding, just getting good players in the building is also super, super important. And so for a team like the Hawks, not even trying to, go down that path, but their future is unknown. They just fired the GM. You don't really know what's going on with Trae Young. When you're in that transitional phase, just having good players on the roster can help you and make that transition a little bit easier. So it is nice that they found one of the players with the highest floors in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's a couple guys that I feel like will have a higher ceiling. So we can still debate if it was the right choice, but you definitely feel good about it if you're a Hawks fan, I think.
I agree.
Let's go chronologically. Number 2. Where do you want to go with Alex R? I think Alex R is a good testament to when you look at a rookie, are you going to view them based on what they do right now or the flashes and how much you think that can be, developed upon as the years go on? Because he was one of the most inefficient players in the NBA. He was not a good rebounder. He did very little of the big man things well. Shot a lot of jump shots, didn't make a lot of jump shots. Really bad rim finisher. Not what you want to see from a starting center as of today as a 19-year-old. But, man, the flashes are incredible. That man can move. He can run. The way he can fluidly handle the ball at that size. You think the shooting touch is going to develop because it always does with players this age, usually. So I kind of love him because I think once he builds his body out, once the jump shot becomes more consistent, once the team has a better infrastructure around him to help him get more easy shots set up for him and not have to be as much of a creator, once he continues to develop that handle and make that mobility a huge strength a la Jaren Jackson Jr., I kind of think he has an all-star ceiling still, despite the crazy weaknesses right now.
Yeah, I think right now the weaknesses are too crazy to see, but I agree with you overall. Like, his strengths are just unfathomable, and that's just shit that you just can't scheme around, and that's like a just superpower in which will catapult him to one of the best power forwards that the league can all. He easily has like top 10 power forward written all over him. He could be that by like year 3 or 4 of his career if everything pans out smoothly. I'm okay with putting him in an all-star tier just because those strengths are so invaluable and so rare at someone his size, and the effect that he can have defensively too. It's a defense player of the year.
Now we are being generous.
Okay.
We are being very generous.
I'm okay with it.
I'm
not in love with it though.
I think I'm probably the lowest, but I don't hate Alex R. I don't think I'm for sure not as high as you, but the flashes are crazy. Like the defensively, it is good. His ability to operate in transition, which will get better as he like understands the game. That's going to be good. And even if he's not some like wild efficient 3-point shooter, having a 7-footer who can guard the paint and then get his own rebound and go coast to coast and operate in transition and get easy buckets and has, like some passing chops to where he can play make a little bit. That in itself, he can get to a point where he's averaging like 20, like 21 and 8 and being a very, very impactful defender. The Wizards feel like they're on a decent trajectory right now, which is crazy to say, but like you have them being like a 6 seed and then him being that good. All-star is in the possibility for him.
Yeah, I don't feel crazy saying that. Like, I think I'm not saying he'll be a perennial all-star, like all NBA type of guy, but I think he could make an all-star one day. And it'll have to be the type of scenario where you look at him now and he's getting up all these shots, being hilariously inefficient. He shot 39% from the field, 45% on twos, which is ridiculous for a 7-foot player. It's hilarious to say it out loud. He clearly needs to be on a team that gets lucky in the lottery this year and drafts either Cooper Flagg or Dylan Harper, and he can be the second star. That's his role. Go try to develop into being Jonathan Isaac on defense, which is a high bar, but I think it's not out of the realm of possibility, and a good complementary player on offense that can play off of a star, stretch the floor, do secondary creation, lead bench units, run in transition, be able to outrun all these other bigs that are trying to guard you. It feels to me like the Jaren Jackson ceiling isn't like insane. Mm-hmm. We're doing a lot. We're doing a lot of hoping that he gets better at things he's horrible at, but I don't feel like it's crazy.
But he's shown the flashes, and I think that even it's a weird line between between you're chucking and you are not a good shooter, and like I know you're not a good shooter, but you are getting these in-game reps.
Yeah.
And so that is also very, very valuable. Because like we used to say that with Ben Simmons, like at least try and shoot the three in game. And the fact that he's in a situation where you can get those live reps, that means something. When we say all-star, at least for me, I'm thinking at least like minimum 2-time All-Star. Because
Yes.
anybody can like make one All-Star team. Like if you have like a good year, and I'm not even saying that it has to be like back to back or whatever, but just you have a stretch where you are,
You're
kinda-
all-star level.
Yeah, like varying in between like 24 and 30.
When we
in the
rank
league.
players, we compare you to all-stars, even if you don't necessarily make the game because there's only so many spots. You're in conversations of comparison to other guys who are there.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And for someone like Alex Sarr, what's super encouraging is like he understands what will make him elite in this league and what sets him apart from every single player. And for like as a Hawks fan, it hurts obviously to put someone like Alex Sarr above Zachary Richardson because Zach had clear and day the better rookie year. For Zach, his game just feels too limited to where he doesn't have just yet at this moment as we speak, he doesn't have the ancillary skills as Alex Sarr to put him on top.
Yeah. And again, if it goes the other way and these skills don't develop, it won't be shocking, right? I can see a world where he doesn't hit the ceiling too. But all we can do right now after the rookie year is project, and I feel okay being nice to Alex Sarr because the skill sets are there from such an early age that I don't feel terrible about it.
Yeah. All right.
Number 3 overall, what do you guys want to do with Reed Shepherd?
Listen, man, you got a lot to prove. You have a lot to prove. It's not your fault necessarily that you have a lot to prove because we didn't see a lot of you. But
Okay, yeah, but how do you want to treat this tier? Because technically, we haven't seen much of him. So I guess he has everything to prove because we just don't know. But I don't think when you put other players there, it'll be because you think they're not very good and have to show you they're good. Whereas he didn't
do anything. He literally didn't do any bad.
So,
He
like,
didn't do
I
much
still
good.
think, whatever I felt before the draft, I still feel like he'll be a starter. Obviously, he didn't have consistent minutes. His stats are really bad in those limited minutes he got in garbage time.
Naturally.
But there's a few games where he got to start and put up over 20 points in those roles when he had a consistent role. He did really well in the G League. How we thought about him beforehand. I still feel like I would expect him to at least be a starter.
In the 3 games in the G League that he played, he put up 30 and 8 assists a game on 45% shooting from the field and 40% from the
And he was just
3-point
gunning.
line.
It was hilarious. I don't know if you
Yeah.
saw any of that. He was just out there clearly told, go get in a rhythm, go shoot every gem shot you can.
Yeah, exactly.
which is fine. I will say
If he was ass in the G League, then I'd be like, yo, you got a lot to prove. Like, that's legitimately scary. But he wasn't.
he is on a team, and so coming into the year, we were like, Jalen Green, watch out. Like Reed Shepherd's going to come in and take your spot, all this stuff. Jalen Green had enough of a solid season to where you can see, like, if it's not Jalen Green, it's gonna be Devin Booker, or it's gonna be somebody of that ilk. So I'm not sure necessarily where Reed Shepherd is fitting in, especially because the way that Ime is running the team is very much like if you're not guarding and you're not consistently giving like 25 points a game, you're just not gonna play. And because he's not even getting the opportunity to get there, I'm not sure how to parse out his future, especially like with the Rockets. So I'm inclined right now to go solid bench guy because eventually they're gonna have to move on from some of the young players. They're gonna have to start retooling. I would say solid bench guy.
But see, you look at Reed Shepherd still, and so beforehand we thought he would be at least an elite role player. And from what you saw in his rookie year, now you think he's worse and will be a solid bench guy? Because that's the exercise here. The exercise is how you feel about him long term now. So same type of mindset as if it was a pre-draft projection, but it's after a year where you have this sample size. And you don't have to get to do away with what you thought before the season. You supplement it now. You really think his ceiling or what he will be is a solid bench guy?
Maybe. I mean, because also, you go through the whole draft process and you like start looking at guys, and there's some guys who you just fall in love with, and so you may be higher on them than what they actually are. And so my pre-draft notion of what Reed Shepherd is or what somebody else is may not have been correct at the time. I'm not going to say it was right or wrong, but I'm saying the way
he won't do it. I'm selling 0 stock. I'm standing on it. He is still going to be extremely good. I don't care.
I'm selling a little bit.
I'm standing on all of it.
I'm selling a little
He
bit.
started against the OKC Thunder on March 3rd. He played 31 minutes, 25 points, 5 assists, 70% on twos, 42% on threes. He looked extremely good in that game. I saw that one. I didn't see this one, but he played against the Clippers. He started on April 9th. 7 for 14 from the field, 20 points, 4 assists. He shot 60% from 3. And then his third start is that late game year against the Lakers where he played badly. 5 for 14 from the field, 14 points. 3 starts, it's a tiny sample size, tells us absolutely nothing. But I don't know.
He's done nothing, bro. To like,
He's shown
three
stretches. He's had games where
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he can't play. You know,
No.
and
he looks like he belongs.
in those few games, but it's such a hilariously small amount of games. And all the minutes he got outside of that were so low leverage that I take almost nothing from it. And even if guards who play full-time roles as a rookie, we know guard production as a rookie is so fake. Point guard struggle so much all the time. We know what happened to Trae Young. We know what happened to Scoot. We see it all the time. Now those are two different ranges of outcomes there. What that could be after that season, but
Darius
it's not
Garland, throw
crazy.
him in that conversation as well.
Oh,
he's
Darius
very
Garland.
much in that. Like he's very much that type of player as well.
I still feel like I have no reason to sell my stock. Like he didn't. I wasn't shown. Somebody else on this list we'll get to. That pick was pick number 10 overall. I have a lot of reason to sell my stock. We were
Damn.
shown a lot of poor play that I should feel worse now. I don't feel like I was shown any reason to feel worse about him, so I don't feel any reason to move him down. I'm not saying all-star, but I feel like elite role player is still fair.
You were saying all-star pre-draft.
And now I'm saying elite role player is like, I said
Okay.
there's a ceiling of that, but
You saw one stock.
no, I'm just like, I guess
I don't know about elite role player. I think he
Two
needs
stocks.
to earn that. And so far, he hasn't even been given the ability to earn that. I feel comfortable putting him in starter.
But did he lose that? Because you thought that beforehand too. Did he lose that for you?
He didn't lose it. It was just like
So if he
you
don't lose
have to have the
never had
opportunity
it.
to show it to me.
Well, we don't. We have to keep
so
part
I'm
of it
still
as our
like-
pre-draft notion and what we thought beforehand. Like we don't have to make that irrelevant and go off of just this year. Like we can use context.
You're right. I agree. It's not.
What content? That's what I'm saying. Like
The college and your other evaluation of who they'll be. You know, nothing exists in a vacuum. You know, we don't only have to look at just this year in which say you shot poorly now. I can't think you're going to be better. Like there's a reason we thought he'd be good before that.
Yeah, I understand.
I agree, but
like,
there's gonna be players on this list who showed me physically more than someone like Reed Shepard, and I don't feel comfortable putting them above him just yet, simply because of the timing of things. I feel very fair in putting him in starter until he, like, the second that he plays like 10 straight games of like more than 25 minutes a game, then I'd be like, okay, there you go, just to confirm everything. I don't want to jump the gun too much just yet. I need to see it.
Starter it is. I feel like you don't. I feel like we'll look back in a year and we'll be like, oh yeah, that's an elite role player. I feel very sure of that.
You're right. I feel like decent of that as well. I just need to see it.
Okay, and that's fair. If you just don't feel as confident in that, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
If you do feel confident in that and you just don't want to do it because of sample size, I would have an issue with it. But if you just need it to be proven to you still, that's completely fine. We can go starter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Number 4, Stephon Castle. The complete opposite of Reed Shepard. Given all the opportunity in the goddamn world.
Maybe too much.
Yeah, well, too much as far as like his efficiency suffered because of it, because
Yeah.
he was just insane usage man after Victor Wembanyama got hurt, and especially after De'Aaron Fox went down with the surgery. All the touches in the world, won Rookie of the Year because he had all the touches in the world and produced, right? You apply the rookie tax, you assume he's going to be a little bit inefficient because he's a goddamn rookie. He did well with that usage, I think, overall, right?
Yeah.
You feel confident what you saw that he can handle that and that he's going to improve because of that usage, and that it wasn't just a strictly you had a lot of touches. He did enough with it. You feel good that he can handle it. Where does that put you? Do you see an all-star ceiling? I think a lot of people would say yes, but there's still the big shooting concerns. He's a very good high floor player. Do you feel like the ceiling will be there?
That's tough.
No, I'm putting my hands up real quick. I don't know if I see all-star. I think as high as you can go on the elite role player tier, he will be at the top end of that.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
That's why I see it. I think
So
like
you think he's Derek White, not Drew Holiday?
yeah. I like, and again, it's rookie year. One of my personal biases is just, and as he gets stronger, it'll get better. But guys who are like big and taller, who aren't great at the rim, it is something where I'm like, like this.
I think he will be good at the rim.
Most rookies aren't.
I think
that's-
most
yeah.
rookies aren't.
understand
I think we see the flashes. We see the ball
it
handling.
just never feels good.
We see the good
Yeah.
change of pace. I think obviously you can't just with rookies. You can't only look at like rim field goal percentage.
Of course.
He will be good at the rim, I believe. I think he has the strength. He has the decel. He has that style of play that everyone always said coming into the draft. He looks like a Shea regen in that way. I do believe he'll be a very good rim finisher. He has the vertical oomph there that you think that he's not going to have athletic disabilities there that make him not be good enough. He's going to be vertical and finish above people and through people with the finesse. I think he projects to be a very good rim finisher. It all comes down to the shooting to me. Do you project he'll be a good enough shooter? Because if he's not going to be an above average shooter, I find it hard to believe he'll hit all-star. But I do think elite role player is like the floor. I don't see any world in which he's not a very, very good role player.
Yeah, bare minimum, that's where he belongs in my mind as well. when it comes to all-star talk, I think there's definitely a real world in where the Spurs are elite one day. They grab like 65, damn near 70 wins. And they just belong. They just need
70.
3 all-stars.
Damn.
In the future. I'm talking about like fucking
I mean,
3-4 years from now.
De'Aaron, and Wemby. Obviously, like Wemby's.
You think they're getting flagged?
Yeah, just like obviously Wemby's a hit, but like you're asking for basically for them 3 to be like, we're gonna.
I mean, those are the Wemby conversations.
We're gonna have 3 guys on second
No,
team
you're right.
All NBA.
Wemby should be good enough that he
Yeah.
at some point he'll win 65 games at least. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And if that happens,
Get
in
out the
turn,
mud.
Stephon Castle has to play a big role in that, I'd assume.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see a world in which he like just swoops into one max like 2-3 all-star games in his career.
As
But
a rookie,
Also, you think all star? Because we're going 2. Because I'm looking at all star as like 2 or 3. If you think he can get to like 3 all star games,
here's
I
the
think-
thing. He showed just as many flashes as Sarr did, I think. Just as many. Do you feel like those flashes are quite as transcendent? Like, when we look at Sarr, we say, okay, wow, if you hit this ceiling and you're a mobile shot blocker who can shoot threes and handle the ball, and then somehow you get good at finishing at the rim and shooting consistently, you'll be a star. Did he show you enough that you say, if we give him the same benefit of the doubt, if your shooting develops and that becomes really good, that these other strengths that are obviously going to be elite, he's obviously going to be a very good defender, very good slasher, good off balls, a cutter especially. If you see the shooting get to be at least average, do you feel like those strengths will carry him to All-Star?
the one thing, yes and no. The only reason why is just because you already know we have Wemby here, we have De'Aaron. And so just overall, like offensively, like your usage and your ability to really like, I guess, showcase all of your skills in that way.
So it's situational.
Yeah, I don't think you should do that though. I don't think we
Yeah.
should do like, will you make an all-star with a specific team? I feel like it has to be more about the level of
I mean,
player.
he's a rookie in a young situation where they have one of the best young
I think it
players.
should
Like
be
this
considered in the
core,
conversation.
this core, at least him and Wemby, like this core is going to be together for like 4
Yeah, but I don't really care about like, we talk about, I don't care if they actually make the all-star. It's like, are you that level of player? So
them as individuals.
I don't want to give him tax against him. We're talking about how good these players are, and we're like, yeah, but you got to play with De'Aaron. Like, that's not really an evaluation of his skill.
Yeah, I lie in between both of those things. So I'm like,
But opportunity does matter, so I get what you're saying. It's not like
Yeah.
it's insane.
yeah, exactly. I lie in between both of those things. I probably feel more comfortable putting him in the elite role player tier as of now, but I can definitely envision a world where he just like averages 17 points one year, 16 points, but plays like stellar defense, is the wing stopper for the Spurs or whatever it is, and slips into an all-star game. But
It's just, the only
that's like
thing,
a perfect world.
seeing Sarr there and knowing how much bail we cut him, and then Steph, who also has these traits that show, like, he shot 63% at the rim, which isn't horrible for a rookie with that usage. Now, the 33% from mid-range is horrible. The 29% from 3 is horrible. So that is quite...
Maybe we need to put Sarr down because like if someone, the average person was to look at this system, be like, bro, what are these
Hey,
guys
fuck them. We're not,
talking
again,
about?
fuck them. We're just trying to project on what we think will happen. We're trying to make this age well. So we're trying to think about it 5 years from now when you look back at this, what do you think it'll be? And he can go either way. It feels disrespectful in the moment, but trying to divorce yourself from that, like, does he deserve the same benefit of the doubt?
No.
Simply because I don't think those skills stand out and aren't, I think the word is used, transcendent enough compared to Sarr. He probably belongs to remain in that tier.
All right.
He also almost got hogged down by Reese. Like, I don't know. Obviously, putting a lot on somebody's plate too early can be, it's not always beneficial. And so after Wemby and Fox go down, and you're just like, all right, Stephon, like, run the show. Like, that's not, instantly going to be successful. But I don't know. And maybe that just speaks more to how good Reese was playing more than a knock on Castle.
Yeah. I feel like we might, I don't know. We can go with the role player. Clearly, you two both want to do it there, so I won't argue it too much. But I kind of feel like he could be given the benefit of the doubt for All-Star. But it's so fringe. We can go elite role player. Ron Holland. To me, this is between starter or solid bench guy from what we saw at rookie year, right? Similar situation because he can't shoot even a little bit. But man, his energy is so good. The way he runs the transition, a limited dog. I think we'll see if he can develop into being a good defender. That's TBD. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I think solid bench guy.
I'm going solid bench guy.
Really?
But
he could be a starter, but the shooting is a problem.
The shooting is wild. It's wild. And like, yes, you can, if you play like Ron Holland and you have that much energy, you can be on my team.
He's a floater, man. His floater is nice. He shot 52% from floater range. I saw it yesterday. He has a package attacking the rim that he can do a little bit despite his limitations, and the body will develop. He'll get better as a slasher, I assume.
Offense. If we're just talking offensively, though, because
What do you think he shot from the corner?
from the I forget.
15%.
I saw it was terrible. but
19.
Yeah.
Damn.
If we're just talking about his offensive game, I would put him in a lot to prove. But I think
Yeah.
that his athleticism, his motor, all of that raises him up to solid bench guy. If the offense comes around 40%, 50%, he's easily a starter. But it's a lot of questions offensively. So I think solid bench guy is a nice medium for him.
Yeah, we're giving him a lot of benefit of the doubt where we think he just like looks like a player who's good and will be good. Like you see it's all intangibles and eye test. That means something. You know, his development is weird, but I think the shooting from him isn't just a bad shooter. It looks atrocious. Like it's not going to ever be a threat. So like someone like Stephon Castle, I think we can give him, someone like Sarr especially, we can give him benefit of the doubt. He will develop as a shooter. I don't feel like we can give that benefit of the doubt to Ron Holland.
Yeah, no.
Tijon Salon, number 6 overall.
Oh man, this is
It's not looking good, bro.
yeah,
It's not looking good.
at all,
Bro, this is
man.
rough.
I don't know where to start when it comes to Tijon Salon.
I do. Everybody was right. I'll start there.
Yeah.
The world was right. This pick happened. We reacted to it on our live stream of the draft, and we said, whew, it's kind of high. All right. I get wanting a wing between your star point guard and Brandon Miller, who kind of is like a shooting guard, a little more finesse than he is playing big for his size. You want a big wing there to fit with him long term. Okay, that makes sense. Modest Buzelis is right there. Tijon Salon was expected to go like 15 or 16, maybe.
Took him at 6.
You could have traded back or picked a good player,
What are you doing, bro?
but you picked the project way higher than you had to. Huh. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And who'd have thought it's played out exactly that way? This would have been very palatable if he was a 19th pick and you'd say, okay, he's the youngest guy in the draft. We got to give him time. He was always going to be a project. He was never supposed to contribute day one. It's a little bit different when we know who you passed up on. We know the process to get there was you just picked your guy despite the strategy that could went into it. And I won't pretend that I watched a ton of him in the second half of the season. Obviously, when LaMelo went down and the playoff runs coming up, there's certain teams you kind of tune out to. Maybe he had some flashes in the second half that I'm not privy to.
The Hornets fans, there was a 10-game stretch where he was averaging like 7 points, 6 rebounds. He was shooting like 50-40. Like his splits were pretty decent. There's a 10-game stretch that a lot of Hornets fans are gonna point to and be like, see, like he's growing, he's doing this. And for him, at least, for being somebody who was unplayable in and out the G League to oh, you actually look like a viable rookie. That's cool, but it's beyond a lot to prove.
Yeah.
It like no matter how good,
You have everything to prove.
yeah, no matter how good of a stretch, he could average 30 in that 10-game stretch, and I would still come out here and say it's not looking good because the entire season was just looked too much for him. It just looked like he's just not in a great situation, but also he didn't do a lot to prove that he has enough of the skills to transcend whatever to be a solid NBA player. So I'm not super high on
Yeah,
on-
again, I made sure to purposely the bottom tier doesn't say bust, doesn't say you're out the league. We're so far early into this, you really can only learn so much from a rookie year. So even the most disastrous of rookies, like I guess you can say it's him this year, it's not looking good, but it's not over. You are the youngest player in the league. You do still have a
We're
chance to
just
prove
waiting.
everybody wrong. By the end of year 2, I'm willing to say somebody is cooked. By the end of year 1, it's just not looking good. But we'll give you time. We'll see if those 10-game stretches start to pile up and you can prove people wrong. Hornets fans, I know you don't feel good about it. I'm not saying you should, but I will not say he's done until the end of year 2 at the latest.
Not just yet. There's so much disarray in that organization and chaos, and it sucks for someone like him to be thrown into that situation. Someone who needs a creator and all that to be set up, needs some type of backline defense to help his glaring flaws and whatnot. He just set up to fail also in that situation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll see, man. Donovan Clingan, number 7 overall.
I feel really, really good about him. I see him as a player. I know his weaknesses and strengths. I see players who've had massive success in the league with his exact archetype, and there's certain holes in his game that are clear as day, like offensively. But regardless of the fact, he belongs in bare minimum the starter tier, but could very well be a elite role player.
Yes. He is going to be one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. That I feel good about. Whatever the the best defenders in the NBA is like a Gobert, Anthony Davis, Wemby. Those guys kind of transcend being just a rim protector because they're so generational, have switchability, have all the defensive instincts that make them some of the best defenders of all time. Not saying that, but if you look below that, the traditional drop big rim protectors of Visa Zubac this year, Klingon will be that good defensively. I feel almost certain about it.
I'm going elite role player,
but
for me.
But he sucks ass offensively right now.
He's a non-factor.
He is an incredibly bad rim finisher for his size.
He's just as useless on offense as this table. You can't expect anything.
There's some Rudy Gobert hand stuff going on, but he is young, not the youngest rookies at all. He had a couple years in college. I don't know. So defensively, I think he will be Zubac. Offensively, I'm almost certain he won't be. Now, he'll get better. He is still a rookie. Like, there's a pretty big difference between like what Zach Edey did as a rookie offensively and what Klingon did. His offensive skill set is nowhere near as polished. Wasn't expected to be. That's the difference in their as prospects. You saw that in the rookie year. So maybe he can be a lob threat, can do enough on the margins, it could work. You are confident in the defense, not in the offense. What do you do with that?
I don't know. So I'm looking at him. I think like for me, the point that I would love for him to get to is like a young Jared Allen. Like I would want him to get to that point where, like you said, I'm not even thinking that he's going to turn into a player that's going to average 15, 16 points per game. It's really, can you be a consistent like play finisher? And while I do hate 7-footers who are not good at the rim, his defense is really, really good, man. And I think that even just that alone, we talk about it so much in that having a big who can protect the rim, who can anchor your defense, it provides such a solid foundation for your team moving forward. And so even if that is just who he is, I think that in itself can make him an elite role player because of the value and because of what he does at his position defensively. So I'm gonna go.
No, I'm with you. Let's do it because I think there's a world in which he gets to near DPOI level interior defenders.
Yeah. Another interesting caveat in his game too that's really gonna be able to raise his ceiling is seeing his willingness to try to step outside every other game. So far, or this first season for him, he took about 53s and made 14 of them. It's about 28%. Now, of course, that's not good whatsoever. But for a rookie big who had zero expectations to be able to do that, seeing him have the awareness and also be put in the position to step out and just at least attempt them, very, very, very valuable and could raise his ceiling and overall value in the league tremendously. So I feel good about elite role players.
It was taking Bam years to start, stretching out and or stepping out and doing that.
And he's a good rebounder too, which isn't nothing. 7'2", big rebounder, should be an elite shot blocker, good drop coverage big. I don't think his feet are complete cement. I think he has good enough mobility that he can be a true elite defender one day. Yeah, elite role player is fine. If we think you're going to be one of the best interior defenders in the league, that gives you a high floor. He's going to get better offensively. He's not going to have stone hands forever. He's going to get at least to be a good dump-off dunker at the minimum. That's going to get developed. Elite role player is cool.
Yeah, I agree. The second that he's able to step outside and be more comfortable hips-wise and feet-wise guarding smaller players, hey, man, he could slip into an all-star game one day.
Yeah. Okay. Number 8, Rob Dillingham. Where do you go with Mr. Shifty?
Mr. Shifty, bag man.
He didn't have a big role. Fans were clamoring for him to have more of a role. I think he showed some decent flashes, but mostly because the team needed. There's a time in the season where they desperately needed some ball handling juice, and he provided that. So the idea of Rob Dillingham was really, really, really appealing to Timberwolves fans for a lot this season. But he's a tiny rookie, so none of the performance-based metrics were amazing. How could they be? He is tiny and obviously needs time to develop. I kind of feel like solid bench guy is still, if you thought he was going to be new age Jamal Crawford, new age Lou Williams beforehand, you could probably still think that.
I 100% still think that.
Why not?
Every time I see his highlights, I'm like, yo, this is an instant offense, professional scorer type of player. And it's just fun. It's fun watching him play. Obviously, because of his size, you're never gonna look to him to be like a lockdown guard, and so you're not gonna ever ask that of him.
A
And so,
lockdown guard. We put the bar a lot lower.
listen, I like him, but he's like, there's gonna have to be a lot of stuff in place for him to be a consistent starter on teams that are making deep runs into the playoffs, and he's gonna have to be, providing so much offense for it to be worth it to have him out there. So solid bench guy is fine for me.
Yeah. The evaluation is still what it was. He's very similar to Reed Shepard in that you didn't see a ton. So evaluation should probably be what it was before. Now he got a little bit more of an opportunity than Reed did, but just a little bit. Not that much. It was very inconsistent throughout the season. I feel safe assuming he's exactly who we thought he'd be.
Yeah, I feel perfectly fine with keeping him as a solid bench player. Something that did surprise me coming into the season is seeing how more developed he was as an actual point guard. I think he had more outside. Obviously, like the scoring juice and the perimeter stuff is fantastic and fancy, but one of my biggest questions to him is like, okay, you're a small guard, no defense, you can shoot, nice handle, but what else? How can you affect the game in other ways without necessarily putting the ball in the basket or getting kill him highlights? He's been passing the ball. He was passing the ball more well than I initially thought he would be, and if he continues to build on that, and if the opportunity presents itself, he could easily be a starter.
Yeah, he still has the juice that you want to keep following him over the coming years and see what it becomes.
Yeah.
Number 9, Zachary Edey. Man who was subject of much slander during the NBA play-in tournament when they played the Golden State Warriors. And in his first ever NBA playoff game as a rookie big man who is huge, has extreme highs, extreme lows, he was asked to go out there and perform against Draymond Green, the greatest defender of his generation, top 5 defender of all time. Zach Edey had to go out there and contend with him. And my God, did Draymond embarrass him. People were saying acting like Zach Edey's never made a layup a day in his life because Draymond was terrorizing him under the rim, getting into his handle, disrupting him. He could not finish anything. And people were slandering him like he was just Boban, right? Acting like he was useless. But in that same game, he had a lot of rebounds, defended the rim well, deterred shots well. I'll say this. His rookie year went precisely as you could have predicted it. He is really immobile, gets in foul trouble a lot because if you blow by him, he's going to foul you because he's big and lumbering. That's a problem. But remember, I liked him a lot before the draft. I said he was going to step into the league and be one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. That happened. He's a 95th percentile offensive rebounder, 98th percentile defensive rebounder. I think he's a pretty good rim protector for a drop big with that size. Does a lot of second half of the year, or last 12 games of the year, after Taylor Jenkins was fired, they did a lot more screen setting with him, and I think he looked pretty good as a roller. They do a good job of establishing him, his size down low, and feeding him and making him a constant threat you have to respect. To me, he is exactly who, up highs and lows, exactly who we could have thought he'd be.
I'm going starter with him.
I agree.
For those reasons, I look at him and it's like, all right, he's like Steven Adams, but like, a little bit, not a little bit, but just taller, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he is. I really liked his screen setting, his offensive rebounding. Obviously, is one of the things that you look at his game and are very excited about. If you can do just those two things, that's awesome. Like you can start on a whole bunch of teams. I don't think that his offensive game is ever going to grow to be like one of the best out of bigs in the league. And I do think that his offense is going to be dependent a lot on who's playing point guard with him.
Yeah.
Right. Like, because he's going to be asked to set a lot of screens. If that connection is good. And that's why I'm like, when I talk about him, I'm thinking about Steven Adams, because you think about like that connection between like Russ and Steven Adams and how hard those screens were and all these dump off passes. And if you can get that between him and Ja, then maybe there's a possibility of him going to like elite role player if you really get some synergy there.
Yeah.
But I think for just in a vacuum around the league, he is a starter.
Bro, the biggest issue people have with him coming off this play-in tournament and into the postseason is his rim finishing.
Mm-hmm.
If the number one question you have about fucking Zach Edey long-term is can he finish at the rim? Yes, he will get better at that. He will not face Draymond Green every game, who's a perfect defender to disrupt that. If that's your biggest concern, he will be just fine. Mm-hmm. Now, it does get ugly when he has to rotate out the perimeter and defend isolations. He fouls so much that needs to get better. To be expected. He's a 7'4" rookie big man. That was always going to be rough to start. His ceiling will be defined on how he can develop and deal with those weaknesses, learn the right angles, learn the right way to use his type of athleticism to make up for the lack of speed with length, that is where we decide if we'll be an elite role player or not. But starter's the floor to me. I think he's a good starter now.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's 22. He should be a lot better now. The ceiling will be defined by those things.
I agree. I think starter's a good placement for him, and it's one of the more obvious placements on the list for me.
Yeah. Number 10, Cody Williams.
Take the floor. This is your guy. You had a great yap session with him about non-basketball related things.
It was great talking to him at the combine. He came on our show. We talked about future, I think.
Yeah.
What else? We laughed. He was a real funny guy. We laughed a lot. I'm just gonna go ahead and slide him right there.
Yeah.
And,
Let's just do that.
Next player.
Okay, number 11. We got Modest Buzelis of the Chicago Bulls.
This is an all-star.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
if you beat me to it, I was
This
gonna take
is
the
an
floor.
all-star.
I don't know if this is a hot take. I feel like I can't say a guarantee because nothing's a guarantee with rookies.
I'll say it.
I feel 75% sure, as sure as you can be without it being a guarantee with a rookie player, he will be an all-star. I feel like it is so clear. It didn't get talked about a lot. It got talked about a little bit. It didn't get talked about on the national stage because nobody cares about the Bulls, and it was a second half of the year development, a lot of March basketball development. He was straight up extremely good in the second half of the year and shows every single sign you want to see from somebody that can be an all-star from a wing.
Yeah, I agree. Once the doors got wide open for him in terms of opportunity and the Zach LaVines were out of the way, they were somewhat leaning on him and depending on him. And because of the skills that he showcased on the court, which is the 3-level ability, the ability for him to be like a special and like very creative driver while having pretty much an all-around game and not necessarily like showing an ability to just not have an ounce of being a good defender one day or not having an ounce of being a good shooter. Like he has an all-around package, and driving to me specifically and creativity around the rim is what sets him apart from everybody in this draft. And I think he has the highest ceiling out of everyone too. Like similar to, I'm not going to say he's like going to be Giannis or an all-time great player, but when it comes to like being surefire, like he should be an all-star, I feel the most confident in him.
Yeah, he's a steal of draft in a similar way that I feel very confident we'll look up in 5 years and say this is clearly the best player from this draft. I've been sitting on it and I tweeted about it a few times. I was like, oh, I kind of think, there's not very many people I would take above him. Then I was like, I probably would only take Sar above him. Now I feel like I'm clearly taking him number one in this class. If I had to start from scratch from one round one guy.
From the start of March to the end of the year, 13.6 points, 5 rebounds a game, shooting 39% from 3, 80% from the line, which is always good to see. You like for the free throw percentage to kind of match up with the shooting split, so it's not like,
it's a great indicator.
this guy, is just getting hot. You see that, and whenever, like, and you talked about it with his driving, there's times where he has the ball where his confidence is just, you can see it, and he has the ball, and you can feel it. You can feel his aggressiveness going to the basket, doing all these different things, being put in I guess better positions as the year went on to showcase his athleticism.
Yes.
But when you're that athletic, when your shot is coming around, when you are aggressive driving to the basket, the ceiling is super, super high.
He's a 96th percentile shot blocker for wings. As a rookie in block percentage. So the percentage of opponent field goals you block, 96th percentile as a rookie. And I did the same thing where I look at the stats in the second half of the year. I filtered it since January 1st. So I look at an even bigger sample size. 65% at the rim, plenty good for a rookie. 46% from mid-range. That's good as hell, like for anybody. 37% from 3 and 40% from the corner. 3-level scoring in the second half of the year in a complementary role, filling the lanes, runs really well in transition. And before the draft, before the year of the G League Ignite, coming into that season, he was viewed as the number one prospect. People thought he would be the number one pick. Like the way everyone penciled in Cooper Flagg, it wasn't as much of a pencil because Cooper Flagg is fucking generational. But Modest Buzelis kind of occupied that mental spot before the season started that he would be the number one guy. Then it fell off because the G League Ignite was a nightmare. And most importantly, it fell off because he couldn't shoot well from 3 in that time. Playing on a team with no point guards. They had literally had 0 point guards, no structure. It was complete bullshit of organization. Simply put, if they knew he would shoot 40% from the 3 for an extended period of time as a rookie, he probably would have been the number one overall pick.
Yeah, I agree. His athletic ability and how he's able to set him, it's like he maximizes every single ounce of the 6'10 or 6'11, sometimes feel like he's 7 foot ability in him. And along with his the way he contorts his body towards the rim and just puts himself in some very specific situations. Yeah, especially he's special. He's special, and he has a level of special in his game that just sets him apart from everybody else. That feels so concrete.
I mean, you say special, what I think you're describing is also his handle. That's a big difference in young players and wings in general. A big difference between a wing who can be 3 and D, and then a lot of times you see a guy like that and you say, oh, if this develops and keeps doing this, like a DeAndre Hunter as a rookie. He was drafted and said 3 and D guy, but maybe he can develop and have some chops to do this and that. The limiting factor is usually their handle doesn't develop and they just can't get by guys with any source of consistency. Even if they're fast running transition and would test well in a 40-yard dash, it's not applicable because they don't have the necessarily ball handling skills to make the most of that burst. This motherfucker has all the ball handling needed.
All the bursts.
He has all of the one. When we talked about the combine, he was talking about how much he loves bag work and how much he looks at Melo. Yeah. And our preconceived notion of him wasn't that when you look at him play in the G League. And then he came up here and he was like, I want to do hezzy tween pulls. I want to get in the post and be a 5-level threat. He's like, people, what he say? He was like, people think there's 3 levels of scoring. There's really 5.
Yeah.
And he was describing all this post acumen that he wants to have. I am fully certain that he will have the craftiness necessary as a ball handler to be a self-created type of scorer in his prime.
And I think the difference with that is, or if you really want to get into it too, his decisiveness as an offensive player and how he's able to just see defenders and have a move for each and every move that the defender tries to
he processes well.
Exactly. And so that also just things that I don't want to say can't get developed, because most definitely can, but it's one of the hardest skills and traits to develop as an offensive player in this league, and he has it day one.
Yeah, instincts. It's hard to teach instincts. You get rare situations where people improve their basketball IQ a lot while being in the league, but a lot of times you're kind of just born with it or not. Let's
put him ahead of Alex R.
Yeah, I feel like there should be another tier that he can go to.
Hey, I mean, he's just bet that we both think they'll be all stars. Obviously, he's a more sure thing. Mostly because I don't want to have to change the visual that's been on the screen the whole time. I have to reframe the whole thing. I'm not doing that. But okay, that's clear. We all feel very good. This is a pro Modest Uzelis podcast. Always has been.
Damn, I feel like it's so stark between my comfortability in saying Alex Sarr is going to be an all-star versus Modest Uzelis. I almost feel like Alex Sarr should be like
That has nothing to do with him. Just because you feel like Modest is better has nothing to do with him.
It has nothing to do with him. I'm just talking about like the skills are so surefire with Modest that like I don't know if I'm like so sold on
you guys just want another tier, and we're not going to do that because I have to change a lot of editing stuff.
Do you feel like they're in the same?
Just
no,
pretend.
no.
Just pretend
I just want to kick down XR. That's literally. I don't want no new tier.
No.
You don't agree? I do feel much more confident about Modest, but also I don't think that we can like say, because it's not like we're putting them in like ABC tier. It's like it's just like, do you cross this threshold to get into this tier? And so I do think that's
the All-Star tier could go on forever. It can go up until LeBron James tier. Yeah. So like you can look at, you know what? This is how we do this. Bam. Oh wait. There we go. He's the top of the tier.
All right,
that's hilarious.
I'm with that.
And let's put Castle above Risa Shea to be in the top of this tier.
Hey, no, that's fine. Whoa.
And
let's move to cool. Way too much movement. Way too much
there
movement.
We go.
I do not agree with this.
And then, yeah, okay. Now the tiers are perfectly ordered. We'll order all the tiers.
Perfect order. Keep that to yourself, sir.
I actually feel better about Reed than Klingon, but so whatever. Yeah, we'll look at it as like a pseudo order. Look at it going across all the way down. That's like the order. And that feels fair now.
Who's next?
Bub Carrington. We're going to skip a couple players. Topic didn't play. Devin Carter had a mixed role, didn't play at the start of the season.
Huge injury as well.
I don't have a good read on how good Devin Carter is from his rookie year. Bub Carrington. This is another one that is, you look at the Wizards and you see they got these 3 rookies that performed pretty well as a rookie. You know, they're building a good infrastructure there. We feel good about the program they're building and how these players will play off of each other. Bub is all flash in the same way Sarr is. Not actually like efficient production. He's a rookie point guard. You're not expecting them to. But man, that man can handle the ball. I see a little bit of Kobe White in there. Maybe not quite as quick, but the like shiftiness, knifing through the paint. I feel like the kill him eye test signs are pretty good above Carrington.
They are. He's a solid mid range shooter. He doesn't really turn the ball over, which for any point guard is always nice to see. That in itself, like,
not just solid. 48% from mid range. That's like really fucking good. That's not just that's good outright for any player.
That's peak. That's peak. That boy nice.
The only worry for me about his game right now, obviously, again, he's a rookie, so this is the worst that he's ever gonna be. Seeing how he doesn't want to get into the paint as much, is like a major red flag, because considering it's like that, doing that opens up a myriad of abilities of you and your game and your team offensively. But the bare bone way he is now, like in my mind, he could just be a regular starter.
I'm thinking solid bench guy for now because he's not a good rim finisher, not a good 3-point shooter. He's all handle and mid-range ability right now. He's a great floater game and a great handle. That I feel like
that could work.
He's like a bigger Rob Dillingham. Yeah, I mean, again, I think obviously, there's a range of outcomes. Mm-hmm. Everything could develop, but I feel like solid bench guy is like a flawed player that shows signs. That sounds like Ron Holland to me.
Yeah, his 3-point shot was coming around towards the end of the year.
I don't know if that feels like Ron Holland though, because his skills feel more refined.
These couple of skills feel more refined, but there's a lot of them that aren't. Like, I mean, yeah, his on-ball skill set is more refined. That's what he does. But inversely, his defense is less refined than probably Ron Holland's is. His 3-point shot is iffy, not refined. The rim finishing is incredibly unrefined. Like, the passing doesn't... I mean, I don't... Maybe he was a better passer than I thought. But there's a lot of question marks still that aren't... if you guys want to go starter, I won't argue it to death. But I feel like putting him next to Ron Holland and Dillingham feels fair. Especially Dillingham.
I'll say starter just because... You said that man Ron Holland was shooting 19% from the corner, right?
Yes.
That there's stuff in his offensive game that is not only unrefined, it's kind of non-existent. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so you really have to go up like 2 levels for Ron Holland to get to a point where you're like, oh, if this can be a consistent part of your game, then we're good. Whereas I feel like for Bub, we're kind of at that point already where we're looking for that consistency. And then we can get there. So that's why I'm more inclined to put him in starter than solid
if you want to say that we feel good about his passing chops continue to develop, and the 3-point shot was 34%. It's not bad. I didn't mean to say it's horrible. Yeah. I just meant that I don't think he'll be a great rim finisher. So I'd want to see more signs that he'll be a really good shooter. And I don't think he'll be a non-shooter. So maybe I made it sound like I think he's like Ron Holland. I don't. I just think that it's not. It didn't project to me like, oh, this is going to be a lethal off the dribble 3-point shooter that makes up for the lack of rim aggression. Yeah. So that just sounds like a very flawed point guard that, think about that archetype. How many of them are starters?
Yeah. I can agree with that.
Just a starting point guard.
And I don't have a good feel for his defense. Maybe Wizards fans think he'll be a good defender. That's never come across to me, but I don't have a strong opinion on that.
I haven't gotten there, but let's just put him as starter. Let's put him there.
Fuck it.
No, but I think to be a point guard and to not turn the ball over a lot. Personally, that means a lot to me. Okay. I think the fact that you already do have one offensive skill that is towards the top of the league, that also means a lot. Yes, you have to work on your 3-point shot. Yes, you have to work on your finishing at the rim, but you already have something that you can go to and get off and operate at a high level. Those 2 things working together, that's why I think starter.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not like down on Bub Carrington or anything. I just feel like it really just comes back to Reed every time I see him there, that I'm like, if that's a quintessential who I project, I think they're different, going to be a different class of player. And even like Edie, I feel more certain about being who he's going to be, but I'm not mad at it. It can go either way.
I think I'm more sold on his 3-point shooting, which helps me believe that he has a place in this league. He shot 81% from the free throw line as well, which is like a strong.
Yeah, solid bench guys have a place in this league too. That's exactly the verbiage I would use. He has a place in this league for sure, and has a place in this league is to me a solid bench guy.
Yeah, for sure, I agree. But I was gonna say he has a place in this league as a starter somewhere along the lines as well.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I guess honestly, the delineation between starter and solid bench guy is often how good your team is.
Yeah.
So it's really starter on a good team is what that means, because solid bench guys can be a starter on a bad team.
Yeah.
So it's really like, do we envision you being a starter in a contender, basically? And sure, why not? Next up, what pick was he? He was 14. 15, we have Khalil Ware. I still don't know if it's Khalil or Kal-El. I think it's Khalil.
No, I actually think it's
Kal-El, like Superman?
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen people say both on broadcast, so I have no clue. Ware. What do you guys want to do with Ware? Honestly, if we want to talk about traits and you want to talk about flashes,
Motherfucker look like AD sometimes.
There was
What the hell
that
going
week.
on?
That man was
that week
in
he was
the running.
flying through the air.
He was in the
Yeah.
running for rookie of the year off of like 4 good games because he looked magical. He can run like a gazelle. He's one of the fastest centers in the league. Probably will be a good lob threat and projects to be a good shooter from the position. Already gets him up. Obviously, the efficiency will get better as he gets older, you would hope. So don't see him being a good passer. Probably not a lot of self-creation going on there from that frame. But listen, man, a rim rolling lob threat who can block shots and shoot threes.
He has a place in this league.
The ceiling is crazy.
You can play on my team.
The ceiling is outrageous.
Any team in the NBA.
Exactly.
I kind of feel like we're looking at an elite role player here.
I'm cool with that. I think everything you said is true. And to have somebody, those traits and those flashes, they got me. They got me. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's very tantalizing. You could very well see it not developing, and you're like, oh, we got shocked by everyone thinks they're getting the next Wemby and so forth. It could not work out. It really comes down to how disciplined of a defender he is, because we know he has the size and the physical traits to be a good shot blocker. It all comes down to how he develops, and I don't think he's a bad defender now. I don't think he's starting from a low point. So if he can be an above average, good rim protector that can play effective drop and keep his feet moving and be able to give you a little bit of defensive versatility with that speed he has, I feel like it'll be hard for him not to be really good.
I agree.
Like he's going to be able to shoot. He's going to be able to dunk. He would have to be like the biggest idiot in the world offensively. And I don't think that. He looks like he's a very good IQ player. That doesn't strike me as a weakness at all. To be that archetype and not be good, you got to have nothing going on between the eyes. And that is not how I would describe him.
Yeah, he got
All right. Elite role player it is.
Yep. Okay, the next up, Jared McCain, number 16. We've talked about him a lot. We obviously feel like he would have won Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt. We feel like he has a very high ceiling, already an elite shooter, elite off-ball mover. Talking about a lot going on between the eyes. He's a high IQ player. Small, so probably not going to be the best defender. I think he has a little bit of passing chops. I don't think he's a black hole there.
Definitely.
Small sample size, so we only saw the good. That maybe that could have came down. But the high of individual skill as an off-ball shooter, that's at least an elite role player, I think.
Bare minimum, you're right. I agree. He can't go no lower than elite role player. Obviously, there's like literal limitations in terms of how he's able to get his shit off due to size and whatnot, and how impactful he is all around on the game or on the court. But bare minimum, he's an elite role player. If you guys think that he has a puncher's chance of making an all-star game, which I think so, I'll be okay with putting him there. But bare minimum, I feel so good about every team. He's just gonna get limitless like NBA contracts for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
because that ability to shoot as well he does on or off the ball.
You want to put him first in this tier above Castle?
Yes.
Or, okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think puncher's chance is a good way to say it. If you told me he developed into an all-star, not impossible. He would just have to be like actually one of the best shooters in the league because he's never going to be this like dynamite at the rim just with the physical limitations. He's not big and he's not that fast. Not to say he's slow. He knows how to use his angles really well and he's quicker than he is fast. But he's not a burner. He's not going to be a downhill elite slasher like Stephon Castle is with that size and vertical. So to be an all-star, he has to be one of the best shooters in the league, play on a really good team because he's probably going to be your like second or third all-star. A lot of questions and not quite as high of an all-star level floor, but elite role player to me, I would be baffled if he's not that.
I agree.
I always say
he already is that. So yeah.
I think he's gonna be Desmond Bane. Is I think the outcome.
Okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and Desmond Bane could easily
right.
slip into an all-star game sometime in his career. We all agree like he is an all-star caliber talent.
Right below it. Slip in. He can slip in the same way that Goran Dragic slipped in as an alternate. So he's like right below. You deserve to be an all-star.
No, I'm going to elite role player. That feels right.
I think a little bit better than Goran Dragic. I'll say like Mike Conley.
Hey man, Mike Conley was special. I wouldn't go that far. Mike Conley was good.
He's turning into
Yeah.
Mike Conley was an elite defender. People don't remember. He was a good defender. They don't remember. They remember that guy getting attacked by Luka Doncic. I don't remember grit and grind. He was athletic.
Oh man.
First $30 million contract in the NBA.
Oh man, you're right. He was like the richest player in the NBA for like
for summer.
A year. Yeah.
Okay. Dalton Connect, number 17.
Tell me about your pasty prince.
I don't know, solid bench guy, I guess. I don't think he has a ceiling of Reed. I guess he's no, he's old. He's because he's so old. He doesn't have. You can give Bub Carrington more.
You think he has a lot to prove or no?
No, he's a solid bench guy. He had in and out role because the team is contending. If he was on the Charlotte Hornets, if that trade went through, he would have put up fucking numbers. He would have been going crazy, shooting
He
shit
was
out
on
the
average
ball.
like 17, bro, and
Yeah.
41% from the field.
I think he's an old rookie that showed enough flashes when his role is consistent. He is a really, really terrible defender. Off-ball defense, he has nothing going on up there right now. He has a lot to learn, but he can shoot, he can cut. His biggest issues are that he has to figure out a lot of the mental side of the game, and he was thrusted into a team that's contending. And you want him to be a little further along that because he's so old, but I think he'll improve there. So I think he has a low ceiling and a high floor. Solid bench guy feels completely fine.
All right.
Okay. I feel good about that.
Yeah, he's similar to a lot of these guys, especially the older guys like Edie. They are who we thought they were.
Yeah.
He went 17 for a reason. That's where you draft a solid bench guy. Next up on our list, 21, we got East Missy.
Okay, so
Interesting player. Flawed, but has some good strengths.
Yeah, we've seen players like him time and time through and through, like over the last few years of the NBA, last 10, 15 years of the NBA. I think when I view him, any team would like to have him a part of the roster. Big, athletic, great athlete in terms of his ability to run up and down the floor, very flexible and all that. I think he, bare minimum, is probably going to be a good starter in this league, but he has the ceiling of an elite player. I don't feel good about elite role player just yet, but starter.
Elite role players out of the equation for me. I think
I
he's either a starter or a solid bench guy.
Yes.
He's very athletic, good vertical rim contester for sure. He can jump for sure. Not a good drop defender yet. He's currently a defender in the same way that like young Giannis was, where it's not super disciplined technically, but he's a really good weak side shot blocker because his length and speed and ability to just be athletic there. He has that instinct in him that I think would be a good shot blocker. Has a lot to work on to be an anchor defensively. And the instinct is to be like, oh, JaVale McGee, insert X athletic big that can run up and down the court and catch lobs. Pretty fucking bad rim finisher right now. And he's kind of slight for that build. I'm sure he'll build the body out and he'll get better there.
He's a rookie.
But I'm not encouraged offensively. I'll say that. I think he can be a good defender, but he has to build up the fundamentals around his traits, which is always the case for guys like this. He could do that. If you told me he's a really good backup big, that wouldn't shock me.
I agree with you, but I think on motor alone, he's going to be a starter.
Okay, we can go starter. That's fair.
He goes hard. He tries hard.
I feel good enough about the traits that, and that's like a really easy role to hit your ceiling in compared to other roles.
Yeah.
Like if you play with the right guard that can set you up and use your strengths and mitigate your weaknesses, it's pretty easy to get to your ceiling compared to, like I said, compared to other archetypes. So I'm cool giving him benefit of the doubt.
I agree.
Yeah, he got it.
Okay, who's next on this list? I gotta pull it back up. Keyshawn George, the third Washington Wizard here. I love Keyshawn
Wizards,
George.
man.
I love Keyshawn George.
Shout out to the Wizards. I think they have another at least starter for
Yeah.
me.
I feel better about Keyshawn George than I do Bob Carrington. So
That's fair. That's fair. That's what I'm saying. At least minimum starter. And if they go ahead and if the lottery odds bless them and they end up getting flagged, and you have defense moving forward with George, Sarr, and Flag, that's nasty.
Dude, George's a good defender, man. He puts guys in shackles. And like he's gonna be a 3-and-D guy, especially as they build out the roster and they have more gifted players that come in, like hopefully Cooper Flag or whoever it may be. He has a little bit in his bag. Like he has some good in-between game. He's really good at throwing his shoulders, throwing those elbows, knocking guys off, getting to those little driving lanes where you can create separation with your elbows and decelling for your little floater mid-range game. He has some of that in there. He's a really good shot blocker. Like he's good at one-on-one defense.
Oh, he's a stocks merchant. Like he gets wherever the ball is, he's gonna be around the ball.
Yeah, fantastic. A rotating rim defender for a 3, which is an incredibly valuable archetype that gets overlooked a lot. Is part of like why OG Anunoby is such a good defender. It's more about the interior than it is one-on-one. I'm gonna put my arms out and stop you from driving. The interior defense is gonna be a big strength of his. I think he'll do some secondary ball handling, attacking closeouts. You see the signs of being a good 3-point shooter. Good one-on-one defender. Quintessential 3-and-D guy.
I don't know what team wouldn't love to have him on their team, bro. He seems like he should have went, in my mind, like top 7 probably in this draft. Looking back, I think easily we're going to look back and be like, how the
we
fuck
did a
he
redraft?
fall? Yeah, easily. For sure, for me personally.
Interesting. So those top 2 tiers, you put him like between Klingon and where? Actually, no, because Reed's still there. I think 7 might be harder than you think, but
7 might be a little. I don't know.
Because I mean, you
No,
got
stand on it. Stand on it.
you got Modest, you got Sar, you got Reed, you got Jared McCain, you got Castle, you got Reese Shea. That's 6.
The bet is on Castle in my mind.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, the bet is on Castle.
You're out of your mind.
The bet might be on.
You're
Castle.
out of your mind.
It might be on Castle.
Hell no. I like Keyshawn George a lot. Not
Yeah.
that much. Hell
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
All right, brother. You got it.
Listen, it's not ridiculous. These are all young players in a close draft. You could be right. I could definitely. I can 100% imagine a world where people pull this clip up in 2 years, and I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah.
And they're like, look at Keyshawn George. He just dropped 30. He had a
Yeah.
game winner. And I'm like, all right, you got it. Next up, Terrence Shannon Jr., the slashing extraordinaire for the Minnesota Timberwolves, had some flashes. Had a famously really good game against the Lakers soon after the Luka trade in which they beat them. I think they were shorthanded that game. He got a lot of minutes. Man, that guy is a bullet attacking the rim.
Yeah. Yeah. He uses every single ounce. He uses every ounce of the 6'7", 6'8" frame. And I was the biggest fan of his coming out of college. I've watched him play over here at Illinois over the last like 2-3 years or whatever. And seeing the 3-level scoring and the defense and the length that he just makes himself feel known and apparent on the court. He's always like, people know he's playing. People feel him on the court. Me personally, I feel okay with putting him at solid bench guy, but deep down in my heart, I feel like he's bare minimum starter.
Solid bench guy's fair. He's a slashing specialist. He's an older guy, so solid bench guy is very fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I feel okay with it. I think there's definitely a pathway for him to be a starter, but there's a few more things in his game that need to be.
Yeah, I mean he could be a starter, but I think it really would just depend on like what the team construction is like.
How his defense develops over time.
Yeah.
Okay. Ryan Dunn. Preseason came around. He shot like 42% from 3 in the preseason. Everybody lost their minds. We were like, oh my God, is this going to be one of the single biggest offseason developments we've ever seen from a prospect in the history of modern NBA draft discourse? And then,
The season happened.
It returned to normal. He went back to shooting 31% from 3, but he will be a very good defender. That team was a shit show. He was one of the only athletes that had some juice on the team. I think he will be a very good elite defender. Offensively, I have absolutely no clue what to take away from this season.
And that's why I would kind of want to put him in a lot to prove.
What?
Oh, no. He's going to be a great defender. I don't know.
No, that's different. A lot to prove means like you have nothing to like hang your hat on in my mind.
A lot to prove is like, damn, you're not looking good, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Then why have the tier?
I don't know. It just should have got this way. I don't know. Maybe you want to put Tijan Salon there?
I mean, no, we're just gonna go through this whole thing, and there's not gonna be anybody in it.
You're right, but I don't feel obligated to put him there.
He's
just
the
'cause we
wrong
know-
guy. He's the worst guy to put on here.
I'm not putting him there because of obligation. I just think, listen,
48% on free throws. He does not profile as a good shooter. So
I think solid bench guy minimum is.
he does have a lot to
very
prove
deserving.
offensively. I mean, you have to be a good enough shooter.
I guess so.
But his defensive floor is very high. He's going to be a very good defender. But I guess it's hard to be a defensive specialist if you have no offensive juice to you. Like, you look around the league, those guys don't last very long. You look at Jared Vanderbilt. It's kind of tough to keep you on the court sometimes if you don't have any semblance of a jumper.
Okay, maybe I do like a lot to prove the more that he's talking about it.
For this specific archetype, it's like imperative that you can get to serviceable level, and he has a lot to prove to get there. So I guess we'll let you. All right.
You're good. You're ahead of the curve.
They call him a madman. I guess we'll put Ryan Dunn a lot to prove. Fair enough. Isaiah Collier. Similar situation. He can't shoot even a fucking little bit. It is just nothing as a 3-point shooter. But he is. I loved him before the draft. You guys remember? One of my guys. I hoped he could shoot better than he has. But the idea I had of him was being a downhill, fast point guard that can create paint touches and use that to be a very good passer. And he's been an even better passer than I thought. Some of his per 36 minutes passing stats are ridiculous. Like, per minute, he's the best passing rookie by far. He was actually like a top 10 passing point guard in terms of assists for the second half of the year. That is going to be real strength. He's going to be a dimer that can create a paint touch. I don't know how much faith we should have in the 3-point shot to come around.
Yeah.
Nothing's impossible. He's not a lost cause. He shoots them. He's not Ben Simmons.
Guess the biggest X factor for me is his gauge on my gauge on him on defense, which I have like little to none. And if he doesn't end up panning out to be like a solid defender, he's going to be a starter in this league. And I think the playmaking might be just so good that you have to figure out a way to build around that.
Yeah, it screams to me. I mean, a guy who's a really good passer, but the scoring has to come along. It sounds like a solid bench guy to me. Sounds like TJ McConnell coming up. Like those guys exist all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks because I really do want him to be higher.
He can for sure. Like it's not impossible. I think there's definitely a world in which
We have to move Yves Messi down if that's the case.
I want him to be higher, but I'm with you. There just has to be a little bit more of. I just need to see it a little bit more to actually believe in it in terms of his like full offensive game. When it comes to the shooting is
the difference in him and Yves Messi is that is like I said is the realisticness of hitting that floor from their archetype. It's very easy to become a starter as an athletic rim running big. It's not very easy to become a starter as a point guard that can't shoot at all. That's very hard to do. Like you have to be fucking transcendent to be a black hole as a point guard shooter these days.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be a black hole forever. I don't think so at all. I think he'll probably get the competency, but it's not a given. Mm-hmm. I would be being biased if I said we can assume he'll be a good shooter.
Okay, it's okay.
Jalen Wells, potential rookie of the year, probably going to finish second or third. Very good on-ball defender. On a good team as a rookie, having an important role.
Already a starter.
Sounds like an elite role player to me.
I don't know if how much more of a ceiling do we think he has than what he is now?
I mean, he can obviously be a more consistent shooter because that kind of went away. Like he hit the rookie wall. Mm-hmm. But so if he is hitting...
He's 21, by the way.
Okay. 21. That's fine.
21.
If he's hitting the threes at the clip that he was earlier in the year, you add what, like 5% growth on that a little bit?
Yeah.
You add just a little bit.
I take that back. I think he's probably going to be a starter.
Yeah, he's
he was an elite role player for a rookie. Yes.
Yeah, 3-and-D guys go to a starter. Everybody we have an elite role player has like some juice to him. Like we think these bigs can.
You don't think there's any juice with Wells?
Not really
for any like on ball stuff.
Do you?
Like on ball defense? That's
no. I hope he agrees.
No, like offensive.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he's very good and will be very good, but. I don't know. Maybe that could prove us wrong. Maybe this is a lazy take. Maybe Grizzlies fans will point to certain things as well, and we're just have a blind spot to him. But he had such a refined role this year that he did so well that I'm assuming he's going to just do that forever. And he didn't. Maybe it was lack of opportunity, but he doesn't have like crazy physical traits that I'm like, given the opportunity, he's going to get into more of his rim scoring bag.
Yeah.
No, he's a small guy. He's not a crazy shooter. Doesn't have a crazy handle. Feels like he's going to be good 3-and-D player forever.
I agree.
Right, cool.
Last player on this list, the other second round pick, we have Quentin Post.
Just a solid bench guy, and I think that this has a lot to do with if you are a big who can shoot threes, there's a place for you in this league.
And he can really shoot threes.
Yes.
He can really shoot. He broke off, or he earned a spot on this list in the second half of the year by, the Warriors. One of their biggest question marks around Jonathan Kuminga was the fit. Because the only way to get to 5-out spacing on that team and enable his slashing was by having Draymond Green play center, who didn't want to do that full time. Then the same situation applies when Jimmy Butler comes over. Turns out they had a fucking 5-out spacer right there who's also 7 feet tall, can also do a little bit of rebounding and drop coverage, big defending. That makes the Jimmy Butler transition so much smoother. Having him play instead of Trace changed this team and enabled them to be how good they are.
And even if he never becomes like an elite rebounder or defender, you're 7 feet tall and you can shoot threes. Yes, exactly. you can play, and you will have a role on certain teams to play in limited minutes and this and that.
Every team.
You are at minimum a solid bench guy.
I agree.
Now, if he improves on those things, now we're talking elite role player, right? If he can be an elite rebounder, if he can, I'm losing words. If he can
I understand what you mean. Yeah.
on defense,
yeah. If
right,
he can improve
things,
on defense or
yes.
have another like layer of offense to him when it comes to, ironically, of like have a post game to him, then yeah, like he's gonna be easily a starter in this league,
but
pushing
also,
like a league role player.
But also asking a 7-footer to be like, hey, we want you to shoot 40% from three, and then improve to be a great defender and a good rebounder. Like, yeah, just be Kristaps Porzingis and like you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Should we move Terrence Shannon Jr. down to a lot to prove?
Probably.
Why? What has he done to deserve like a lot to prove?
What has he done to deserve being higher? I guess I don't know. Like it's all been flashes, and he's an older guy, so we don't cut him quite as much bail as you do like a Ron Holland.
I feel like he deserves to be a solid bench guy. Well, I think for the most part, it's just tough because the Timberwolves are a literal contending team. Like, it's hard to place like Raw. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't care that much. It's fine. And this is our tier list. Here we are.
Damn, hold on real quick. I just realized we did forget like 2 rookies that are semi-important. AJ Johnson on the Washington Wizards as well. I think he should have been on this list. I think he deserves some type of who.
You know I didn't forget him. We talked about this. This motherfucker.
Tristan Silva also probably should have been in this list, in my opinion, as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Solid bench guy,
Guess
Tristan
what?
De Silva.
Salute to y'all. Good
Salute.
We
job.
don't respect AJ Johnson. I just realized that.
Congrats. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. He had those great games after he went to the Wizards. He has some flashes. Absolutely nothing before that. I have very little to take away from that small sample size of AJ Johnson.
What rookie do you feel most comfortable with in your replacement? And what rookie do you feel like least comfortable with?
Modest Buzelis. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Guaranteed all-star.
Wow.
You heard me?
Wow.
Least comfortable?
Yeah.
Everybody in elite role players should be fine. I guess Klingon is a world in which we're too high on him. He doesn't develop. That's possible. Oh, I feel worse in my opinion on Reed Shepard because we have him too low.
What do you think, Donovan?
Let's see.
I'm super comfortable with Modest as well,
yes.
and also Zachary, I should say. And
So
McCain.
I feel the best about Modest. I think I might feel the worst about Ron because I love Ron Holland. However, I don't know if I'm getting tricked by
Dog.
Yeah, by Dog.
Okay,
We'll see.
you're the type to get tricked by Dog.
Exactly. And he plays on a team where they highlight the amount of dog that you have,
Yeah.
and that's been like the fun thing about the Pistons this year. So yes,
Okay.
I don't want to get tricked.
And that's our tier list. And that's this portion of the episode. It's time. Donovan pull out the crayons.
Rifle me up.
Whoa. I got the green one, I guess. Oh, these are piggy banks?
Yeah.
Welcome to TikTok time. Crayons are ready. We're here to yap. Let's have some fun.
We move.
Welcome to TikTok time.
You hear
Today-
that, Cinnabron? Welcome to TikTok time.
Today we were joined by Cinnabron on Mo's chest. But after that, after we take a good long look at Cinnabron, we're going to start with something else Mo related. We're going to start with hair swaps. And today we're going to put every single Jimmy Butler hairstyle on Mo. And I want you guys to rate it from 1 to 10.
I'm just gonna be a mute during this podcast, during this section.
This is lit.
I want you to rate it from 1 to 10. I got this idea from a YouTube comment on our last stream. Forgot to check your name. Shout out you who gave me this idea. I replied to it. We appreciate you. But yeah, man. Rate it from 1 to 10. Tell me how well this hairstyle fits Mr. Mojo 99.
I'm laughing a lot. I know I'm next.
Well, we've done plenty of stuff with you and TikToks with your lookalikes. But yeah, man. Let me know. I'll fit you. We'll start off. The first one. We got the 2015 Jimmy Butler haircut.
This had to be you in high school. This had to be you.
This is fits. This is normal.
Yeah,
I'm not
it
leaking
works.
any information,
It works.
but that one I will. It was me.
Yeah, we gotta give it a 10. It fits normally. It looks the part. You could wear this today if you wanted to. It wouldn't look crazy.
I'm going. Yeah, this 10 out of 10.
Well, it'd be a little bit crazy, I guess, because it's an old Duke back in the day. It's a little like, come on, 2025. But it wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah, but it's a little bit spikier. It's a little bit more like Dr. Umar than Duke. You know?
Dr. Umar.
That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah.
But okay, we're starting nice and tame. I like it.
Snow bunnies never. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Next up. What about this one? We got the 2020 bubble Mo.
Oh no, I look like Michael B. Jordan. What the fuck is going on?
You don't like it?
No,
No,
not a huge
he's
fan of
struggling.
it.
This is childish Gambino right here.
That is not me. My whole bro, you got this whole photo sheet is hilarious, bro. Worst photo shoot I've been in my life.
That's really what this is. This is childish Gambino in the This Is America video.
All you gotta do is take your shirt off. Sorry.
Yeah, your hairline is jacked up here.
Oh man,
It's not the worst look though. I mean, it's a scruffy vibe. It's not horrible. I'll give it a 7.
my dad would not allow me back in the house like this, bro. I'll say that.
I'll go 7.
This really isn't that bad.
No,
It's not. You could take a little taper with this, but it's passable
Yeah.
It's the scrappy facial
for
hair.
the time.
It's a vibe. It's like you're trying to be like this like Brooklyn hipster guy. You're like living loose. You have like a lot of rings on.
He's very rugged. You
Yeah,
know?
like it looks intentional.
Mhm.
It goes well with the fit.
Yeah. Listen, you have this on. You spend your day. You drink some matcha. You go
Place like New York, I can get away with it.
You,
I can get away with
you
it.
hit up a record store. Like
I've seen dudes like this in New York.
You're right.
Next up, we got the braids.
Oh yeah, no, my dad would kill me if I had this, bro. I would literally be homeless, and my last name would be stripped from my name, bro.
You kind of look like I'm Davis here.
Who? Oh, from A&P.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, you look like Davis.
Okay. Yeah, this is a 0 out of 10.
grow your hair out.
This is a 0 out of 10.
What you don't
What?
like the
No,
braids?
this honestly,
creativity.
this is one of the best ones.
What's wrong with this?
Not really.
You anti braids?
I'm not anti braids. Braids are cool.
I mean, on
me.
yourself, obviously.
Yeah.
You don't think you can rock
He
it?
said, "I'm not against the cause. I'm not against the cause. I promise."
Yeah, no, braids are cool. If I looked good
Have you ever
with
tried to
braids,
grow your hair out?
when I was in high school, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But post high school, nah. I know my player. I know my game, and I know my limitations.
Okay. Again, these are all not too bad yet.
Oh my god, that's Burna Boy. Yo, the West African in me is screaming right now.
We got the
Holy
2023
fuck.
dread weave.
That's Burna Boy. That's Leon Thomas.
Oh yeah,
That's all. That's Andre from Victoria.
Oh,
That's what it
shit.
looks like.
And you got to keep in mind, it is a weave. This would not be real dreads at the time.
Yeah.
I need you to pull this off.
I'm thinking about it. This actual is quality, and I feel like a new character with this.
So
Right?
hold on, I'm inspired.
He said
Like,
quality.
like the Atlanta in me as well, mixed with the West African in me too. Like, bro, I kind of want.
Oh,
this.
shit.
This is like
In
Waka
another
Flocka
life?
Flame esque to me.
It is.
Bro.
You look like Takeoff.
Yeah, I might have to do this.
R.I.P.
This is a 10.
A 10.
Sorry,
Okay, so you
I don't make the rules. This is my slide. 10. Get
you
out
like
of
this
here.
one? Okay. Okay, this one's it's not the worst. It's not terrible.
I know what's coming though.
No, you don't.
I do know what's coming.
We got the orange braids.
Oh my god! What? This is the worst pose ever. I didn't even know this. I forget this photo exists.
Orange dreads with the Mew. Oh my goodness. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 combo. With the pinky ring. This is
You look like a basketball player from a Hulu show. You look like you got cast as LeBron James.
Yeah, that's so facts. Oh,
I'm
man.
going 10 out of 10. I love it.
This is crazy as hell.
the headband works.
Nah, that's crazy as hell, man.
You need to
Clean
start wearing
fade.
a
It
headband.
actually does work. It looks better than the previous braids. For
You
sure.
should start wearing a headband.
Just recreationally. Like Nelly.
Just casually go to the headband when I'm in the grocery store. What's good with homie, bruh?
Next up, we got the pigtails.
Jimmy Butler wore this. Jimmy, what is going on here, man?
Jimmy Butler with the puffs.
He was in between hair braiding days.
I look like a rejected Barbie doll.
You look like Minnie Mouse.
I look like I was a rejected male cheerleader.
Look like what was the doll from the Rugrats, Angelica's doll, with the hair sticking to the side.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember the
You
name.
look like
but it is-
Angelica's
word,
doll from the
yes.
Rugrats.
But it is accurate. However, I never want to see this hairstyle on you ever. I'm going 0 out of 10.
Luckily for you, I'm not capable.
And last but not least, we got Emo Mo.
No way.
Yo, him mewing kills me every time.
This is such an evil picture, demented picture.
You got the
Stranger
eyeliner.
Things type picture.
Cut my life into pieces.
I just imagine myself headbanging right now.
Suffocation.
I love
Should have
this.
completely blacked out my eyes, maybe look like a demon.
How are you feeling, man? We know you used to dabble with the Hot Topic vibes back in the day.
I did not.
Your headphones has some Paramore in there, has some Chop Suey in
Don't disrespect my skull candies. They're not regular headphones. The fuck is going on?
there. You got some All-Time Low in there. A little bit of Fall Out Boy.
Man.
I like this. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 for what?
10 out of 10.
Would you let your daughter date someone who looked like this?
Are they a nice person? Like,
Tell me, would you let your daughter
are
date
they,
someone like this?
Are they a nice person?
Okay, imagine this person walks up to your doorstep. Hey, sir, I'm here to take out your daughter at 8 o'clock. What you gonna say to that?
Listen, man. I see you at 10.
Wow, that's crazy. Prayers for your family.
How do you guys feel about the lip rings? You see that in your bag?
And I never even tried that, bro. That's fucking crazy.
Never even tried that. As if I was assuming you had tried that.
The double nose ring. Have you tried the nose ring?
I've experimented with it. Never actually stuck that bitch through my nose, but I experimented with it. Sticking it through my nose is crazy as hell. Again, I am West African, bro. So my parents would kill me and disown me.
What about the eyebrow piercing?
Again, my parents would kill me and disown me. You don't understand how serious they play.
What about the eyeliner?
Again, the allegations would be outrageous.
That would be the one that makes your dad the most mad.
Yo, he would say some out of this world things, bro.
Straightening of the hair?
Oh man,
Might break your neck.
yeah, nah, bro. He would decapitate me.
Just snap it.
10.
Again, 10
So-
out of 10.
Bro, if I came into the podcast one day like this, you guys would seriously be like, this is not a recording day for us anymore. Cancel it. We're sending him to therapy.
You're fired. All right, man. Let's get into that.
That's good.
Good way to start to set the tone. Next thing we're going to do, let's talk about Kawhi Leonard's legacy. Let's pivot.
Okay. Completely different.
I'm going to name a series of NBA players, one of which is Kawhi Leonard, one of which is somebody else. You let me know who had a better peak. You know, we talk a lot about what Kawhi Leonard would have been if he didn't get injured. I don't want to do that. I want to say at his best, whatever version you think that is, 2017, 2019, 2021 maybe. Let's call it that whole range of 2017, 2021, that 4-year peak. Compare that to other all-time legend peaks, which was better.
Okay. Let's do
So
it.
not body of work, strictly how good they are at their best, fully healthy. We'll give them that benefit of the doubt.
It's crazy conversations going to be had, and don't be surprised.
Yeah, so level 1, Kawhi Leonard or Tracy McGrady.
It's Kawhi Leonard, and it's not close.
Even just defensively. Like, Kawhi Leonard was never best version defensively and offensively. Even 2019 Kawhi was a much better defender.
Yeah. Like, I love T-Mac. Love what he did for the game, but the peaks are just incomparable.
Kawhi today is a better defender than
Yeah.
T-Mac ever was.
Yeah.
It just, accomplishment's sake, you have to go Kawhi Leonard.
It's Kawhi. Easy.
Level 2, Kawhi or Scottie Pippen.
Shout out to Scotty, and I'm glad that he has his little, his fairy tale year. He's not Kawhi Leonard.
I know.
That's not him.
It's not. It's different. There was a point in like 2016 where you were like, oh, Kawhi could have been Scottie if he played next to Jordan. And then he got closer to Jordan than he is Scottie
Yeah.
at his best. He kind of transcends this. If Jordan had Scottie, they would have won 82 games.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jordan had Kawhi, they would have won 82 games.
Every year.
Scottie Pippen is just simply outclassed, out-tiered, pound for pound.
Yeah. Just mostly because of the on-ball creation. The scoring level is just different.
Yeah, you can give Scotty passing, great. I guess defensively, maybe because
You can say they're close. You can say they're even.
Yeah.
But the scoring back is night and day.
Yeah.
But it's not. So as far as like all-time rankings, it's close because Scottie has a better body of work, did it for longer, has,
Yeah.
the trophy shelf is much bigger. But peak for peak, it's not a contest.
I agree.
And this is a pro Scottie Pippen podcast. So don't even take it as being done with the 90s. Level 3, Joel Embiid.
Oh, yeah. This
one's tough.
I actually don't.
In the regular season, it's tough. For playoffs, though, we just saw Kawhi perform at a higher level.
In the regular season, I'm still inclined to go with Kawhi.
Oh, you must forgot. Those MVP years, Joel was different in the regular season. If Joel did that in the playoffs, he would be one of the 15 greatest players of all time. But he did not.
The impact of Kawhi defensively as a perimeter player to do what he did and to be able to shut things down the way that he was.
Joel was doing the same.
Joel's a better defender at his peak. Kawhi,
I'm
2017,
going-
2021, Kawhi was not like 2015 level defense.
I'm going Kawhi Leonard at their peak.
I'm going to lean Kawhi Leonard as well.
The playoff
Because
rising
even
does
at
it.
his peak defensively, he won like 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards, right?
Early in his career, yes.
Yeah.
But that wasn't at his peak, though. They didn't quite overlap with the offensive peak.
That is true.
But, one of them all-time productive legend in the regular season, one all-time productive legend in the NBA Finals. So I feel safe going Kawhi.
It's easily
Actually, I
Kawhi.
think we had one DPOY. I don't think he had 2.
Really? I thought it was 2.
Or was it 2? I think it might have been 1.
Donald, you want to fact check
I'm
that?
I'm looking it up right now.
Can't remember when it was.
Yeah, so Kawhi won his DPOY in back-to-back years in 2015
Oh, yeah.
and 2016.
Okay, I knew 2015. I couldn't remember 16 or not. There you
Amazing.
go. So,
Yeah, it's Kawhi.
Yeah.
It's Kawhi.
but again, that wasn't quite the same
It's
in
more of a
2019.
conversation, though. It's more of a conversation than it was from the last.
Regular season would be a huge conversation, but one guy is the best playoff riser that gets shit done. One guy famously hasn't had so much luck. That decides it, I think.
It's Kawhi.
Level 4, Kawhi or Kevin Garnett.
See, this is tough as well.
Only at their peak. Only at the KG ranks higher, but only at their peak.
Again, KG is like also
MVP.
DPOY, MVP, all that, carrying Sam Cassell, all these guys to the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi's had MVP caliber years.
2017, he was third.
But to actually win it is a different thing. To actually still be that level of defender that KG was.
But was he that level of player? Is more so the question to me. Yeah.
That's why it's level 4. Level 4 is always tough. It can go either way. This is close. This is the conversation Kawhi's in. I feel inclined to go Kevin Garnett because we saw him at his peak defensively and offensively at the same time. If Kawhi had 2015 defense and 2019 offense, then you could make the argument. But because you didn't see that, I'm inclined to go Kevin Garnett. He also has the ring, It's obviously the circumstances are different, but peak for peak, I think Kevin Garnett might have one of the best two-way peaks of all time.
This is so tough.
It's definitely one of the
But
best.
Kawhi's a much better scorer.
But I'm leaning towards Kawhi.
Ooh, Kawhi's a better scorer, so it's not crazy, and he's a good defender himself.
I'm going KG here. I'm going KG. I think the fact that you saw the peaks at the same time,
that moves.
It moves me.
And there you go. Kawhi made it level 4 today, didn't make it all the way through the gauntlet. Level 5 would have been Kevin Durant, which shout out Kawhi, Kevin Durant at his peak. Come on.
I see people trying to have these conversations. And I'm
honestly,
just
doing too much.
I would have
this
those
guy
flipped.
doing
I would
too
have
much.
those
Yeah.
flipped.
Oh, you think KG's better than Durant?
I think KG's peak is
I
arguable.
think even us who were there are forgetting because we see so much post-Achilles Durant. Pre-Achilles Durant, 2017 Durant.
Okay, that's the one.
2017 Durant that's top 6 peaks, top 7 peak. Like that's that's a perfect player.
Yeah, on both ends as well. Obviously, it's not to the feats of Kawhi or KG more so, but
Like we've seen so many years of older man Durant, and the longevity is like making us almost forget the younger version. That like, it's like we're almost like taking it for granted because we still have such a great version.
No, I feel that, but I still think that like that 2015 to 2017, right? Like those 2.5 years or whatever of Kawhi's peak, where he is getting to 25, 26 points a game. He is rising in the playoffs, doing all this stuff. He is DPOY in those. I think that that's more analogous and a better conversation to have in terms of Kawhi versus KD rather than Kawhi than KG. And I think that if you tell me that the very best of Kawhi Leonard is better than the very best of Kevin Durant, I won't look at you and say that you're crazy.
I mean, you can't say it's crazy because we've seen Kawhi rise, but I think it's clearly wrong to me. I think we don't have to talk about the reasons Kevin Durant's a better player. We all know it. And I mean, I saw someone say on Twitter, this is a bit dishonest, but it is true. Kawhi Leonard's legacy is built off of Kevin Durant's injuries when he would have won and beat him, but he got hurt.
Let's not talk about whose legacies are built off of who.
Yeah.
Right? Let's not do that.
It's intellectually dishonest, but it is true. Like
let's not do that.
all Kevin Durant had to do was not get hurt, and then we wouldn't be having these conversations.
Let's just celebrate the game.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay, next thing we're going to do, let's talk about NBA championship teams. We've done a lot of ranking of modern NBA champions, things of that sort. What I want to do today is, they're all great, but let's talk about their perception amongst fans. I want to name some NBA champions, and you tell me if they're overrated, underrated, or perfectly rated. So this is really about how you feel people perceive these champions years after the fact.
Okay.
Because, winning a championship in the moment, we're always going to be like, they're on top of the world. How could they not stay there? Surely they'll be a dynasty and so forth. You get a few years removed. You see the realities of team building. Things change over time. The game changes. We see teams differently. Let's talk about how teams are perceived.
Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
First off, quintessential debate, 2020 Lakers. This is a hard one because the bubble makes people either write it off and say, oh, it's fake basketball, or you want to defend it because that's nonsense.
I low-key feel like they're underrated in my mind, simply because of the talk and the conversation about the bubble. But if you look at the actual team and how they were constructed, being defensive-oriented and having wings on guard play on guard play and wings on wings, you forget Rondo was out here shooting like 38% from three-point line, doing what he does on defense, being playoff Rondo. Then there's the Alex Caruso's of the world. KCP was there. There's another Danny Green was there. It's deep, bro.
People didn't realize at the time that Alex Caruso is one of the best guard defenders of the modern NBA. And now we know that. And he was just there coming off the bench.
Yeah.
This team was deep. It was physical. It was big. It doesn't get talked about a lot. LeBron was still prime LeBron. This is still just as good as 2018 LeBron. I'm going to say underrated.
They were, before the bubble, they were at the top of the West, right? And the like couple days before the bubble hit, they beat the Bucks, who were at the top of the East. Then the very next game went and they played the Clippers, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, the Clippers are here! They're gonna win the title." Beat the Clippers at the same time. They were at the top of the West, and I think that for a lot of teams that are more defense oriented rather than offense, you look at them and you think that they are not as good as what they were when at their peaks. Like having great defense, having all-time great defense is special and it's very, very hard. And so I think because of that, they are underrated.
Exactly. They caught that window where they had the supporting cast. They had prime LeBron James, who hadn't fallen off age-wise compared to still great, but the age caught up to him a little bit. And you had all the injury issues of Anthony Davis, who was moving like a gazelle.
You had jump shooter Anthony Davis.
Yeah. And even if you want to say that part is because of the bubble, even before the early in the season, he was still dominant, still fantastic. To me, surprise, surprise, I think the first championship team I saw in my life as a series fan is underrated.
Is that the Thanasis? Not the Thanasis. Is that
Kostas?
Kostas? Damn, that's I forget.
He was there because they wanted to recruit Giannis in free agency, so they kept him on the roster. And then as soon as Giannis signed his extension, Kostas was gone. Next up, the 2023 Nuggets. This is an interesting one because at the time, we thought they were amazing. How could you not? Now we look back, that year, the NBA was kind of in flux. One of the weaker playoff brackets.
Yeah. They faced the Miami Heat in this finals too, which is...
Yeah, they ran through a West that wasn't nearly as good as it is today.
I'm still inclined to say underrated though, because I think one, depending on who people play in the finals, that kind of taints people's
perception,
view of like the entire team and the entire run. But also, I've seen people say like that the Nuggets have never like beaten like a 50-win team in the playoffs and stuff like that. When that 5-man unit of Jamal, KCP, Michael Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, Jokic, that is amazing and elite, and especially when you still have like MVP caliber coming into the peak of his powers, Jokic.
And they had a bench. They had a bench still.
It's great.
Yeah, the Bruce Browns of the world was so important and valuable. Yeah.
This is a great team. There is credence to the fact that the path there was easier than some other years, and the reality is they took advantage of the perfect year where their window was completely optimized because there's so many teams that were in flux, like I said, and they just got it done, which shout out to them. It's not easy to get it done, even if that's the case. But perfectly rated, probably, I think.
This is one of the few probably perfectly rated teams.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to use that crutch of perfectly rated, but this might be the one.
Yeah.
It's nuanced.
I'm still going underrated.
Okay, that's fair. Okay. It's not crazy. The 2015 Warriors. To me, this is quintessential underrated because they get overshadowed so much by the better versions of them that came and dominated the rest of the decade that people kind of view this team as like, oh, they're a baby version of the 2016. They must be an easy lick. This team won over 60 games. This team was dominant. This team won with teamwork, with spread out attack.
Yeah.
This is an amazing
true
team.
strength of my numbers right here. This team defines that entire mantra that they have.
Yeah. And people have the crutch of like, oh, if Kyrie didn't get hurt, Kevin Love didn't get hurt, they would have lost. Maybe. Or maybe they would have won still because they were fucking fantastic.
They don't appreciate the Leandro Barbosas of the world or the Mo Spates of the world, bro.
Mo Buckets?
Abundance of them.
Yeah.
Come on.
So like this team, to me, this team is undeniably underrated just because they're overshadowed by their sustained excellence after this.
Yes.
Which is rare because it's understandable they're underrated because you almost like never see this in history where a team is this good and then gets that much better to where the previous version looks like unimpressive.
And and also because it was Steph's first MVP and the second MVP, like you said, was so much better, and everything that they did afterwards was better than what they did. Yeah.
And the psychological effect of playing LeBron James and like Steph was still coming into form of how we were going to perceive him as a legend. A lot of narrative stuff working against them in their place in history. The 2012 Miami Heat.
Thanks, a lot of underrated champions, man.
I don't know how you can say this one's underrated.
No, I'm just saying out of the last three.
Yeah.
Because I've been going underrated.
I don't feel like the Heat are underrated by at all. I I don't know if I want to say overrated, but I lean overrated over under. Boy, that was a crazy sentence. I think overrated is an easier argument than I do underrated.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go overrated with them. This is gonna be the first one that I use perfectly rated on.
Okay. This is the year they beat the OKC Thunder, their first championship.
Yeah, because this was also a weird year because this was the lockout year.
Yeah, true.
And so it's kind of different. But actually, no, I am gonna go underrated because
Really?
I am.
Okay.
Because if you go back
Mhm.
and you look, there's a lot of revisionist history. If you go back and you look at what people were saying going into the series, a lot of people thought that the Thunder were going to win the series. Like it wasn't a crazy unpopular opinion.
That was probably about 2011 stink, though, wasn't it? That was probably about people don't want to trust LeBron.
It may be that, but it also might be the fact that like KD is rising. KD was averaging like 30 in every playoff game. Russell Westbrook was coming in. They still had James Harden on the team. So I think that now it probably is a little bit underrated. And seen some stuff about people talking about Chris Bosh wasn't
Rich Paul.
Oh, that's nasty.
wasn't all that.
Yeah, that's nasty. If
I understood his point, but yeah, neither here nor there.
That was nasty.
I'm gonna pull out again. This is gonna be the last time I pull up my perfectly rated card right here.
Yeah, I don't think that
Pretty
they're
good case.
overrated. I do
Okay.
think that like for the level that LeBron was at, D Wade, at least in 2012, his knees weren't completely gone in 2012, and so you still had a very, very elite Dwayne Wade. You still have Chris Bosh, who is forming into all these like different roles that they're asking him to play. I think that like you look at this team and you look at the fact that they lost in 2011 and that this 4-year run was bookended by losses, but it doesn't negate the fact that like at their peak they were.
I miss
great.
this era, man. I miss this era so much. Look at this picture; it feels so nostalgic.
It's amazing. I had that T-shirt. It was awesome.
Okay, sounds like they're perfectly rated. 2021 Bucks.
This
might be my first overrated. Yeah.
Mm. Why is it overrated? Do you feel like people like respect the shit out of them? That it's too much?
Yeah, like I look back on this team and it's like
I think the team within itself might be a little bit overrated. I don't think how it's looked at from behind is overrated.
I think Giannis's performance isn't overrated, but maybe the team is.
Mm-hmm.
Like they won because he went Superman and he had enough help. But it's not like if you stack this up against other champs that came right before, or right after. It's not one of the stronger ones.
Yeah, like the only team over the last few years, the only team I can say like clear cut is better that the Milwaukee Bucks are better than is that 2022 Golden State Warriors team. Outside of that, like this feels like a pretty weak roster in terms of championship roster, of course. Like Drew Holiday, of course, he played a very important pivotal part to this team and their success, especially their defense. But seeing how you can easily take Drew Holiday out of this whole thing and their defense is now like piss poor.
Yeah, well, okay, so I don't want to do that because then it's just like, oh yeah, like we have something built off of great players. Let's just take the great player away and then it's not as
I understand
good.
that.
But I am with you.
But how legitimate is their defense?
You still
Great.
have
Giannis is amazing.
You still have Giannis. You still have Brook Lopez. I just think that Giannis had to do. They were down 2-0 in this series, and I think that people talk about the 2020 like that bubble and that championship having the asterisk. I don't think that any championship has an asterisk. If you're going to argue one does,
This would be the one.
21 would have more of an asterisk than the bubble. 21 is the year where they started early, where everybody was hurt, where it was super weird. People were going in and out of games and in and out of lineups with COVID and stuff like that. 21 is one of the weirdest chips.
The Brooklyn Nets of it all. The insanely unlucky stretch that made them not win the championship.
I'm not doing that.
They should have won the championship so easily. And like part of that, I'm sure, the injury thing is like a difficult thing to parse because how much of it is from short and off season, how much of it is bad luck. Everybody got hurt that year, including the team that was clear-cut favorite to win the championship. And including the team out west that was the defending champ and the Lakers who didn't make it there because they got hurt. So a lot of stuff in the air. And, you can't really fault them for that. They you win who's in front of you. So this isn't to discredit anything, but if you have to parse, I guess you could say that it was a relatively weird year with some variance.
Yeah. So I'll go overrated for them.
Okay.
The 2001 Lakers.
Perfectly rated.
Yeah, they're heralded as a top 3 team of all time. You feel like that's very appropriate?
Yes. I think I think where you can get to them being underrated is when you start saying like, oh, they'd get like crushed by 2016, 2017, by the Warriors in that era. But like one, you may be right, but that's also just a product of like where the game is, and obviously like this team is built for 2001 and not built for 2016, and so you can get a little bit weird. But we always talk about greatest duo of all time, Shaq and Kobe. It's that video.
They are the bookmark. Yeah,
It's them.
They're probably the most glazed team of all time, and it's completely deserved.
Yeah.
He's completely deserved. Like they're considered the GOAT team, even though they didn't win like 72 games or something like that, like some of the other ones. It's completely deserved. They'd be completely unguardable in pretty much any era. 2008 Celtics.
Two different answers. From us, from them, from their perspective, I'm gonna say they're overrated. They overrate themselves.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the world underrates them because we're mad at them overrating
Correct.
themselves.
That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it.
Every time they touch a mic, they're the most annoying people in the world about their championship. But, you know, at a certain point, you got to not let that cloud your judgment. They are an all-time great defense. They are an all-time talented big three. They were fantastic for their era. They beat good teams. It's a team you need to respect despite how annoying you think Kendrick Perkins is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. They encapsulate underrated in my mind based off of these conversations outside of basketball.
With that being said, everyone overrated. Paul Pierce, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Shout out Leon Poe, man.
1994 Rockets. I put this one here because a lot of people say they would have beat the Bulls if Jordan never retired.
It's me. I'm a lot of people.
You said it.
Is that doing a lot? Is that overrating them?
No, they would have beat the Bulls in 6. Michael Jordan has never seen anything. The Bulls had never seen anybody like Hakeem Olajuwon who could actually shift the floor and shift the defense the way that Chicago would have needed to.
What was he going to hit him with?
Lateral movement.
Lateral
movement.
There you go.
They can't handle it.
Okay.
Fair enough. Listen, maybe it's one of the most underrated teams of all time. The 1996 Bulls, considered the GOAT team.
Perfectly rated.
Yeah, that's another perfectly rated thing. I said I wasn't going to pull it out again. I have to pull it out again.
Okay. It's fair. You know, you don't think anybody's any myth, what's the word here?
Mythology.
Mythologizing. You think it's all deserved?
You won over 70 games.
It's a lot of games.
And you won the championship.
Yep.
And you got the deal done. Yes, you got it.
Yeah.
And you have one of the two best players to ever play.
And the fact that a book ended a three-peat, and the fact that three-peat, it started another three-peat after book ending one before, like, there's sustained excellence there. It's not a one-off. You can't help but say it's deserved.
And you beat a team who won like 69 games too.
Yeah.
This team is unmatched.
Except for 2017.
Yeah.
The 2014 Spurs. The beautiful game. We commonly refer to them as one of the most unstoppable offenses of all time. Do we let the beauty of it cloud our judgment and put them in places maybe we shouldn't?
They were super deep.
Or is the beauty of it underrated?
I'm actually going to say...
It could go so many ways.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how people perceive this.
I'm going to say overrated.
Okay.
Just because y'all weren't loving the Spurs like that back then. People were watching this team play basketball and were like, ho hum, it's the Spurs. And now that we're actually removed from it, and now that they beat LeBron, everyone's like, this team was so good. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Y'all were not loving this team in the moment.
They were amazing. They were unique. They were fantastic, fully deserving winning championship. I wonder how much of this has to do with the Miami Heat roster breaking down. Like if they played 2013 Heat, would they have won?
Well, yes. Like they should have. They should have won.
Okay, so maybe what I just said is a mute point. They clearly were good enough. They were good enough to win 2 years in a row. So that's not a good point. My bad.
I was scared of this team in the finals. After the Spurs won in the Western Conference Finals, Tim Duncan was like, we have 4 more. We're going to get it done this time. That was the first time I had ever heard Tim Duncan be like, yeah, we're going to do it. And like talk trash. I was like, oh, dang.
Does the whole humness, the fact that people didn't like them in the moment, make them underrated then? Maybe they're better than people think because they're boring.
I feel like a lot of people
right now, people are talking about how much they love the team. I'm saying you're overrating how much you like.
So you're basically you're not even saying the team's overrated. You're saying you guys are fucking liars.
Yes, but I didn't want to use my perfectly rated card.
Okay. The team's probably perfectly rated then. Fair enough. And that's the last one. Is there any other team you want to throw out there before we're done here that you say is overrated? Any championship team that comes to mind?
2022 Warriors.
Stop it. No, I feel like everybody hates on them, and it's like, yeah, shout out Steph, because like that team sucks.
Yeah,
it's true. I don't know. They got it done, but it was a Steph masterclass. No, a team doesn't suck. No championship team sucks, but compared to some other ones,
maybe. Well, actually, no. We We give the 04 Pistons their flowers.
I was going to say they maybe get a little bit too much flowers. People make it sound like they invented defense.
Well, that run though, the run that they had was crazy.
It was a great run, but people make it sound like some people that like. Sometimes you would say them versus like a modern team, and you'd be like, yeah, the modern team's going to win. It's a modern basketball. They're like, they couldn't contend with the bad boys. They punch him in the chest. Ben Wallace would kill Draymond Green. And I'm like, you have to relax.
What's another? Yeah, I guess all the other championship teams I feel pretty good about.
What about, there's one team I do feel like is underrated through. We talked about this a little bit earlier, and one of the last in the Kawhi slide. I do feel like the 2019 Raptors team is genuinely it's one of my personal favorite teams of all time because of how deep and well-rounded they were.
I understand that. I can't give you underrated because that's one where it's like it was two asterisks that happened in the moment where like KD pops his Achilles and then Klay Thompson tears his ACL too, and so it's like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, well, they're playing the greatest team of all time, so
There's
Yes, who lost their two
variants of that.
no,
Yeah,
I just mean
understand.
like it's not like it's not like the 2023 Miami Heat lost their two best players and it was a given. Like they still would have been good enough to be most teams. The only reason they weren't good enough then before the injuries because that bar is ridiculously high to clear. Like most teams are good enough there. You put 2019 Raptors on like every year after that, they probably could have been in the finals.
I think that's my leading point.
They're better than the 2021 Bucks.
They're better than the 2021 Bucks. Are they better than the 2020 Lakers? It's tough.
That'd be a crazy series.
That would be a crazy ass series.
That series
Marc
would be-
Gasol,
it'd be in
Ibaka,
the
Pascal
80s.
Siakam.
That'd be amazing.
defense would be great.
They might be better. They might be better.
Next thing we're gonna do, keep 4, cut 4. NBA shooting guard edition. You guys know how this works. I'm gonna name 8 players. You gotta pick 4 to keep, 4 to cut. First name, Manu Ginobili.
We're keeping him.
He's
I
an
don't-
all-time great in his own right.
Okay.
Like,
good.
let's keep him. Okay.
I thought you were gonna disrespect.
Nah.
We're keeping Manu.
You don't even want to think about it?
Nope.
Okay. Derek White.
We can cut Derek White.
Why?
You said he's better than Kyrie.
Should cut Derek White.
You said Derek White's better than Kyrie Irving.
Sound like
Is
you
Kyrie
didn't
Irving
stand
on this list yet?
Maybe.
He might be.
Then we're gonna cut him too. I don't know. It's blind.
Damn, you want to cut Derek White? Okay.
It's blind.
You agree, Mo?
All right. Yeah, I'm outvoted.
I don't have a vote.
He
It's just my
stands
list.
on that shit. Go ahead. Yeah.
he has 2. He's so confident he has 2 votes. Devin Booker.
Yeah, we got to keep him. We have to. Naturally.
Okay.
Superstar.
Okay.
Or all-star at least.
Okay,
There
fair
you go.
enough.
Let's not throw that word around.
Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Oh, he's getting cut the fuck up.
Damn.
Yeah, diced up.
Okay.
Okay.
Manslaughter. Ray Allen.
Could go either way, but it's looking
We
like
should keep him properly.
yeah, we have to keep Ray Allen.
Yeah.
Multiple time champion, one of the best shooters of all time.
He belongs
has-
to
he
get
has
kept
to be
in
on this
every
list.
list. I
He has to be
agree.
on this list.
Okay. Donovan Mitchell.
Ooh, yeah.
Only got 1 spot in keep left. 2 in cut. You've sprinted through these names.
See, D Mitch is kind of interesting because on one hand, the talent is awesome. On the other hand, it's like
He has
It's
nothing
like-
to hang out his head on.
you
at
got
all.
Rookie of the Year and beard grown.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to parse this with the all-timeness of this list.
For the sake of the all-timers of this list, I think it's fair with your logic to cut him because he has nothing to hang his hat on outside of that Rookie of the Year, outside of like banger bubble performances that he had with Jamal Murray. No one remembers none of that, bro.
Hard to look at Booker and keep and put D Mitch in cut, but you've laid your bed.
I
It's
mean-
blind ranking. You've already fucked yourself a little
Yeah,
bit.
Booker went to the finals, bro.
I guess. Yeah.
You did go.
Which helps.
All
His
right,
name
we're-
is in history.
We're cutting D Mitch.
Yeah.
I think you probably should have kept D Mitch over Ray Allen, but to each their own.
I didn't know that was the choice.
Yeah. Yeah, like we had the list.
Austin Reeves.
Oh, he's gonna
Cut that.
You know,
damn.
there's 1 spot in each life. You don't want to think about it?
I don't care. Just
Yeah,
cut it.
Austin Reeves just can't be kept.
What if I say Markel Fultz?
Then
Cool. Marco Fultz,
then we're
number 1
keeping
overall
Markelle
pick.
Fine. You guys, you laid your bed. Now it's time for you to sleep in it. The last name on here, Allen Iverson.
Exactly.
This is like the perfect list. I feel right.
I mean, you did the best you could. D Mitch should be on the left side, I think.
I
Over
probably would have kept him over Manu. He's better all time than Manu.
over who?
I'll leave that to you to decide. Leave it to the comments to decide. Who should they have cut for Donovan
You
Mitchell?
said over who?
I'll tell you, Donovan Mitchell is not one of the 4 worst players on this list.
Yeah.
I'll leave it there.
We did good, though. We did good.
I
For a
would
blind
say-
ranking? Okay.
Yeah, okay. You guys didn't do a bad job. You guys have certainly done worse in the past. Today, next thing we're going to do. Mo, I believe you have some shoes to show us, some sneaker talk.
Yeah. Every year we usually review some new signature shoes that's dropped, and this is that time, bro. So we have, I think, 6-7 signature shoes. I did that completely by accident. We got some signature shoes, and I want you guys to grade them on a scale of A, B, C, D, F, whatever it is.
Thank
So,
you for telling me the letters. I needed that. I needed a refresher.
let's go ahead and grade these shoes. Number 1, we got the LaMelo 4s.
Yeah, these are not for me.
I'm outside the target audience. This looks like Splatoon. There's a lot of colors.
It's a lot going on.
Avatar: The Way of Water shoes.
You remember those gangster SpongeBob shoes or gangster SpongeBob t-shirts?
Yes.
Yeah.
If there was a gangster Squidward t-shirt, he'd be rocking these shoes.
I'm sure they're not bad though. I mean, I'm sure for the generation that likes all these colors and this type of vibe, it's probably cool. I'll give it a B. It's not a bad design. The colorway's doing a little too much for me, but the design isn't bad. I'll go B.
And because of the colors, I'm going C-.
Really?
Fair enough.
Okay.
You don't like the text on the bottom? Not from here.
No.
It looks like LaMelo's tattoos.
That is true. It's a fire touch.
C.
It's not a compliment. It's not a compliment.
It's not great.
Okay.
Okay, I think it's solid. I think if I saw a color that was a little more tame, I'd probably like them a good amount. But I don't. Is that like
None of the colors are tame, brother. It's
I've
LaMelo
had-
ball
you're
we're
right?
talking
It's
about
LaMelo
here.
shoes.
The only ones, because the only ones that I've gotten, they had to be the all white pair. I can't deal with all these colors.
Yeah, these are all white with these.
So the
would probably
shoe
be dope.
itself is actually good. You just don't like the color.
Well, I've
choice.
had a pair before. I've never had the LaMelo 4s. I think I had the 2s.
So you got to update your game.
And keep in mind, people, we're only going off the looks, not performance. People always comment, the grip is so good on the Mellows, though. And I'm like, bro, who
Do you
gives a-
think we've tried out all of these shoes?
Bro, like,
They
no,
think
I-
we kick genius. What's going on here?
we're
I'm
clearly-
just running up and down Foot Locker. Just stopping.
Just doing suicides. These ain't good enough.
like, the whole TikTok would be clearly talking about straight looks, and they're like, they haven't even played in those. I'm like, are you an idiot? Like, you know what you're watching?
That's hilarious. All right. Next up, we got the KD 18s.
These look like baby shoes.
Baby shoes.
I am not with these.
These are RoboCop shoes.
Yes.
I kind of like them though. I kind of like the green on them. I like the silhouette a lot. I can take or leave the shiny metallic looking metal on there.
Yeah.
But I like it overall. I like more than I don't like.
Yeah, I like the damn near ribcage like look on the side.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's kind of fire to me. Yeah,
Looks
I would
like-
give this a B.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
like the Predator, little alien look.
That's crazy. I actually don't like the upper. I like the back heel. The shape and the design of the back heel. That's cool.
The back heel looks like it's for an old man. It's fitting for KD.
Getting up there. I'll give it a B plus. I again, similar thing. I don't love the silver, but everything around that, if I take myself out of the outline of the silver, B plus.
I'll go B.
Okay. High ratings for KD's new shoes.
KD shoes are always pretty good though. I can't remember the last like terrible KD miss.
Yeah.
You know they're re-releasing his KD 6s.
I saw that, the peanut butter and jelly ones.
They will be on my feet
Don't
soon.
know about that.
Nostalgia.
Don't know about that.
8th grade or 9th grade. What was
I
that?
will be here with my Nike Elite socks to match with it.
Yep.
Cargo shorts.
Absolutely.
Those were the days, man. Those yellow, the like peanut butter look on them. That was, I remember seeing so many outfits built around that.
Yeah.
People that would never wear that color a day in their lives, all of a sudden are wearing purple.
Next up, we got the Jaylen Brown 741s. This is his own specific brand.
Hey man, listen. Shout out to you for having your own business.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shout out to
Shout out independent business ownership.
Yep.
shout
Black
out LLCs,
business too. There we go.
entrepreneurship. That's what
Why are
we.
you pointing at me?
That's what. That's what we're pushing. Shout out to you.
Exactly. Now, how do you feel about the shoe itself?
Again, shout out to your entrepreneurial spirit. And I can definitely see that spirit come across in these shoes.
Shout out setting a good example for all the kids from your neighborhood.
These shoes look like they growl at me, bruh. The second your feet smell bad, they finna like tear off your whole leg.
You went against the grain and against Nike, and you challenged the machine, and I respect you for that.
Yeah.
Hey,
We applaud the effort. Hey,
Hey, it is. Next up, we got LeBron 22s.
meh.
They look similar to one of his last shoes. I think
that's
it
what I'm
was
saying.
the 21s or
I can
20s.
see the vision. However, you have a lot of text on there.
It's the mellow ball
It's
timing.
getting a little bit too LaMelo-ish. You are 40 years old, man.
But I like the way that the leather has the check mark like built into it in the middle of the shoe.
That is nice.
That's cool. And what's in the back? The back looks like it might be like a signature or something.
Yeah, I think it's a signature.
That's fucking dope.
I need that tatted on my chest.
Okay. I don't. Overall, C+, B-, something of that sort.
If the writing is on all of the shoes, then I'm not with all of it. But if that's just for the specific colorway, then I like the shoe.
I
It's for
guarantee
this
you every
colorway.
shoe does not have graffiti on it.
Yeah, no, LeBron would take his company.
Yeah, solid B-. This is a cool shoe. Not one of his best, not one of his worst. Sounds like the run of the mill. When you have 22 shoes, sometimes you're going to get some average ones, and this is one of those.
Yeah, I think this is a very meh colorway. But hey, me personally, I would have this in my closet if I had an opportunity.
Yeah, I feel like you always pick med colorways where I'm always like, I feel like I'd like this if I saw a regular one. They're always fucking ludicrous.
Next up, we got Luka Force.
I like that a lot. Is that like a fabric? Is that like a... It's like a canvas on it.
I don't
With
think
the
I'm a
rims?
fan of this shoe.
I like the lines. I like the circular nature. I like the canvas texture on it. I like the low top. I like the midsole.
Nico
I swore-
Harrison saw this coming and he was like, "Yeah, bro, you gotta get out of here. We can signature shoe from a superstar."
I
in
swore I would
history."
never like a Jordan brand shoe because they all are famously bad, but this one works for me.
No, I think these fall in line with the tradition that Jordan Brand
Yes,
does.
this reminds me of the CP3s and the Mellows and all
Yes.
the world.
It's a very Jordan Brand shoe, and that's not a good thing. I'm giving these a D.
Man, I like it. It kind of looks like a running shoe. It has this like modern vibe to it. I love the canvasy nature of it. I like it.
It's not bad,
Nah, man,
but it's not one of them. So I give it a C.
we off that.
Yeah.
Haters, man.
Next up, we got the Curry Fox ones. This is Fox's first signature shoe.
Again, another bad colorway because the white and purple ones are much better. I mean, gray and purple. I mean, we talked about it before. I love the fox on the strap. The fox on the strap is really good.
Great touch.
That's doing a lot of carrying. Outside of that, it looks like a Curry shoe. Looks fine, I guess. But the strap has a lot of aura points to it.
Come on, man.
It's
Come on. We have to step up.
Really?
Right? It's time. We're in a new era. We need to be better in our designs. I'm not rocking with this.
De'Aaron Fox literally posted the other day on IG. He wished he played in these, bro. He wore them on the sideline.
I'm sure if I had my own
Like this
signature
colorway?
shoe,
Yeah, this colorway.
if I had my own signature shoe, I would love to play in them too.
I too would
If
post
you
about
had
it.
a black and white fit to hoop in, you wouldn't wear these?
No.
What?
No.
That's
Yeah, the colorway is not good.
damn.
Yeah,
But
maybe I have to see another colorway.
The gray and purple ones are nice. I like the gray and purple ones a lot.
No, I agree. Those are
I
fire too.
like all white hooping shoes.
Next up, we got the Kawhi Force.
I love these. These look like New Balances. They did a good job of putting the New Balance vibe into a basketball shoe. This is fire. I would wear these.
These are granny panty shoes.
That's the whole point. New Balance is dad shoes. That's the vibe. That's what's cool. That's what makes some New Balance work.
It fits Kawhi's aesthetic. This is by far the best colorway. I've seen some other ones that just look like
This is how you get the brand of New
support.
Balance, a streetwear brand that has a certain aesthetic, and transport to Kawhi's world. I fuck with this.
If you are talking about creating a cohesive feel amongst all of your business ventures, A+. If you are asking me if I'm going to wear these out, I'm giving it an F. I'm not putting these on my feet.
Nobody's wearing these out. There's fucking 2025 basketball
Are you hitting
shoes.
the club in Kawhi Force?
You might
Right?
be able to actually.
No,
No,
I
they,
would wear
they
these
look
on the
like a
court.
casual shoe.
I would wear these on the court. This looks like some fucking...
I would not wear these.
I
On the
would
court.
not wear these
You
on
would
the
get
court at all.
clowned if you pulled up to the court with these
In
on.
Kawhi Force. The
The
only
Kawhi
reason
Force.
I would get clowned. I'm not 14. No one's going to clown me.
we are going to go.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
telling you very directly right now.
I
That's what
dare
we're gonna
you.
do.
Bring
No,
it
you
to the
wouldn't.
court tomorrow, and you'll see what happens.
These are solid. I like them. As a fan of New Balances who owns many pairs, these work.
They're not bad though. I'm hating overly. This is a B.
I like the dirty sole look. This is good.
I'm hating. This is an F.
You guys are haters. These are good.
Who? Next up, we got the Joker ones. He made these last year when he left, I believe, Nike, and he teamed up with this Chinese company called 361 Design or something like that.
This man not only showed me goofy shoes, he showed me the goofiest shoes imaginable.
No!
Why is SpongeBob on my screen?
This is from your GOAT. This was a personal choice. He was involved in these conversations.
You
He has a
literally-
personal connection with SpongeBob.
You literally have Goof personified hanging on the keychain.
Brother, it's Jokic. He loves horses and SpongeBob.
The goofiest character I could possibly imagine, and it comes across.
And guess what?
Yes, it's
I'm kinda-
goofy
I'm
until
kinda
he
rocking
rolls
with
up
it.
in your hood and gives you 60, 20, and 15.
Did he do that because he's built like SpongeBob?
No, he's not. I know. He
more
actually
Patrick
enjoys
than
SpongeBob. It's
SpongeBob.
like,
He
yeah,
Patrick.
yeah. This is a personal connection
I'll go
for
B
him.
plus on this.
Why? This looks like the most generic basketball shoe I've ever seen in my life. This is like ChatGPT spun out basketball shoe and they made it goofy.
My 7-year-old nephew would have a field day with these. I swear, man.
These are 2K generics made yellow. What the fuck are we talking about? This is a
You
D.
need to be more whimsical and enjoy these shoes.
Exactly.
I like these.
The cut of the shoe, it just looks like basketball shoe. Like the default.
Yeah, it does.
It's a D.
Yeah, it does.
This is trash.
Oh, man.
This is a regular ass shoe.
And then you got the little SpongeBob keychain hanging on the side too.
That's
So nice
hard.
collectible. It is hard as hell. I love a man who sticks with his inner child, bro. This is fire.
The silhouette's just trash. It's just mediocre.
Oh man, I need a pair of them.
And he gave you 60 in them.
Exactly.
Was he wearing those in Drop 60?
I don't know.
He dropped 40 with them, I think, for sure.
That's hilarious. What do we have left? Next thing we're gonna do, let me pull up my document with all the planned videos.
Here we go.
Oh, okay. The last thing we're gonna do actually before we get out of here, long episode. I'm gonna name you several skill sets in the NBA, and I want you to tell me who the best player in the league at each of those skill sets is.
Okay.
So like all the core skills, I want to get a lay of the land of who right now is the best at each of those skills.
Okay.
First off, we got shooting.
Steph Curry.
Goes without being said. Let's say without Steph Curry. He's obviously the GOAT. Without Steph Curry, who's the best shooter in the league right now?
Anthony Edwards.
Percentage-wise from three. But his mid-range shooting is too bad. I feel like you have to have three-point and mid-range shooting for this.
Sounds like Kevin Durant.
Yeah,
He did
that's
shoot
probably,
like 43% from the 3-point line this year. Something crazy.
Or
probably fair. Shea's the best mid-range shooter, but the
Jokic?
three-point isn't there.
Nah, I'm not having Jokic in these conversations.
listen, 43% is 43%.
But the mid-range, he doesn't shoot mid-range buckets.
Yeah, I'm not.
All right, so are we going Kevin Durant?
Fair enough. If
I'm
you-
fine with KD. It's pure everywhere.
Okay.
It's always pure.
Rebounding. Who's the best rebounder in the league right now?
Zubac.
Probably. Probably
I think
Zubac.
he averages like 13 or 14 a game.
Or Jokic. Jokic is pretty fantastic on the offensive boards.
Yeah.
I'll go Jokic on this.
You could put Jokic in
I'll
there.
go Jokic.
Turns off the board. Sure.
Yeah. Speaking of Jokic, passing.
Trey
Well-
Young, the leader of assists.
All right, shut up.
this
We're
year.
going Jokic.
Oh,
We're going Nikola Jokic.
Whoa.
Trae
You
Young's up
guys-
there. Trae Young is a fantastic playmaker. Jokic is better.
Bullshit, man.
Better passing skill.
This is
Better
bullshit.
angles. The size makes him see more. The passing vision is really different.
Better.
Man, show me how many times Nikola Jokic has nutmegged someone and thrown a lob at the same time. 0. He don't have a highlight like that.
What's the next category?
You think that's hard?
Hard as fuck.
They win
Hard
the
as
game?
can be. What? I talk about
I
highlights
mean,
over
that's an either or proposition.
here.
Yeah. Nikola Jokic probably has the best combination of all time of vision and passing accuracy.
Mhm.
It's like him and Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
Perimeter defense. Who's the best like guard or wing defender right now? Like obviously Dyson Daniels jumps out.
Could throw out Lou Dort's name.
Big sturdy ass.
Tumani Kamara is a very underrated name. He might be the name that I lean towards.
But he's more versatility like on the inside too. He's not just best perimeter guy.
Dyson Daniels is a fucking hound.
I think I might
Caruso.
I'm gonna say Dyson Daniels, perimeter defender.
perimeter. I might go Lou Dort because Lou Dort's big.
Oh, wait a minute. Let us not forget about the guy who's hurt, but is still has the crown. This is Herb Jones Award.
Nah. I'm talking about this year.
I'm gonna let Herb Jones
Yeah.
reclaim his award next year.
Ah.
Right now, I'm gonna give it to Lou Dort.
Okay. Can't be mad at that.
Yes, you can. Lou Dort, come on. The best?
He's so fucking big and physical.
He's good, but the best?
I would lean towards Dyson Daniels personally, but I
He's
can't
not the
be
best
mad at
perimeter
Lou
defender.
Dort.
Alex Caruso is a better perimeter defender than Lou Dort.
I don't know. It's different types of defense right there. I think Alex Caruso's more skillful of a defender and knows how to like pivot better and shit.
Pivot.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Like move his hips.
I would rather go Dyson Daniels than Lou Dort, just because Lou Dort's not the best guy on his own team.
Dyson Daniels it is.
There you go. I'd rather let you have that than go Lou Dort over Caruso. Interior defender. Still Rudy Gobert's title?
Could be Rudy Gobert.
I don't want to.
You just don't want to?
I don't want to.
You could throw
He
in.
is hooping though.
I mean, if you're not going to go
Evan
Rudy
Mobley.
Gobert, I guess the only reason you wouldn't do that is because if you want to go Wemby or Chet.
But-
Yeah.
Okay, but Wemby's hurt, but he played.
Let's do
Who
Rudy
cares? We're
Gobert.
not doing today. It's in like
Yeah,
a league
let's do
standings.
Rudy
All
Gobert.
right, we'll go Wemby.
You want to say Wemby already passed up Rudy Gobert as the
Yeah.
best interior defender?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Rudy for now. gonna say Rudy.
You need to get into the future, my brother. It's Wemby.
Rudy still deserves respect. People have kind of like glossed over him in their
Yeah,
head.
no,
That's
he's
why-
number two. He's number two.
Yeah.
He's the second best, but like it's Wemby.
Wemby's the better shot blocker. Obviously now his length is ridiculous. I think Rudy's probably still the better consistent drop defender. But if you listen, Wemby's one of the best defensive playmakers of all time. If you want to say it's him already, I'm not mad at it.
Okay,
Wemby it is.
I'm going Rudy.
You suck.
We'll go Wemby.
Damn.
Ha.
And that's the end of this episode. If people are still here, what should they comment?
Cinnabron.
Cinnabron is in the building.
Let's go. Got that off TikTok shop. You can probably go find
TikTok
it.
shop. Are you serious? Cinnabron. This
I've
bitch gonna
seen
go
mad
platinum.
videos for the Cinnabron shirt.
Really? I haven't seen one. What the fuck is wrong with TikTok,
Yeah.
man?
Comment Cinnabron. Go check it out on TikTok shop, I guess. Not an ad. And we'll see y'all later.
I'm gonna make an account right now. And make bands.